See, we need a system. 4. And then go quiet. Don't say anything after 3. And then go quiet. Don't say anything after 3.
Oh, I gotta shut my sound off. Alright, we are live. This is episode number 51 of the Blue Wall Podcast. Yes.
Chubbs.
Hello.
And today's guest, Tom Edwards, aspiring writer, accomplished musician.
Aspiring musician as well. Not quite accomplished.
Let's get some of the other stuff, the BS out the way about the what is it called, the disclaimer.
Oh, yes, 18 and older.
Before you say any other word.
Before we have any other bad words.
Left and right, Chubbs.
Our record is the very first word of a episode. He accidentally cut it on and said F-bomb.
Yeah.
It's the very first word. So I don't think I can beat that record.
Yeah, it was, we were technical difficulties, and it was just like,
I would have to invent a time machine, go back in the past before you did that, and do it to beat that record. I just don't see it happening.
But yes, we probably should be 18 and up. Probably
there will be a little foul language maybe if it happens.
And if you're mad because your kids are watching it, that's your fault for not being a good parent.
Lock on the internet, man. Just keep them off there.
Yeah.
They don't need to be on the internet till they're at least 17.
Yeah, don't blame us on your kids' bad behavior.
Anyway.
Also, hold on.
If anyone's tuned in and they want a social stream, all you got to do is make a free account with Ustream. It takes 2 seconds. They don't harass you. They don't sell your email. If you like something, they will send you a email that says, "Hey, this show is on right now, so tune in." That's it.
Which we'll need to also probably repeat sometime.
Yeah, we'll do it later. Just keep an eye on it when someone pops in. Anyway, Tom, I don't want to get into too much yet. We'll just get a minute for people to tune in.
Yeah.
Tune on.
What about those hookworms? Let's talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about that for a minute, just to kill some time.
Yeah.
Have you read this article? You know what hookworms are, kind of? It's like
nope, I know ringworms.
Or like, it's almost like an unclean disease, but it's not really, because it's easily transmitted. And these hookworms get in your stomach. I think they start eating your blood, maybe, so you become anemic. And, you know, they make you, of course, if you're anemic and you don't have any blood, well, you're going to get sick, your immune system's going to fail, things like that. But they found that through taking the hookworms, sterilizing them so they can't breed, and putting a set amount in you, if you have autoimmune diseases where your body attacks itself, like asthma, arthritis, what's the one in the stomach where you're eating your own stomach?
No, nothing
like that.
Oh my
gosh, why can't I think of this? Tom, do you know?
Oh my God, I know.
You got me, man.
It's a pretty common
something.
disease.
It's
not
ends with
IBS.
itis.
It's not IBS. It's worse than IBS.
It ends with itis.
It's not diverticulitis.
Yeah, diverticulitis.
It's not it.
It's not it.
Something very common. Your computer's up.
All right.
Common stomach disease. Man, I just gotta know now. I knew a girl that had it that I worked with, and I cannot remember what it is. I've talked about it several times, and we just talked about this last week, pretty much.
Better not go to WebMD or we'll think we'll have it by the time we're done reading.
Yeah, that sounds pretty.
Crohn's disease?
Crohn's disease.
Is that it?
Louise, yes, that's it.
Chubbs.
Man, well done. Well done, Thomas.
Well done, Google.
Yeah. But what'll happen is instead of your body attacking itself, it'll start to attack these hookworms. So it'll give your body something else to focus on besides it's probably like a DNA or an RNA malfunction or something that causes it. I'm not sure exactly what causes it.
So what you're saying is it's like the clone attack in Pokemon where you put up a decoy of your Pokemon and they attack that rather than you.
pretty much. But I would take it a step further and say it's not a decoy. It's just a whole another target.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's a whole another, like, kill. You know, it's like what's going on in the Middle East right now. You just give them ISIS to fight, or give them the other Kurdish rebels of the northern Syria to, you know what I mean? Just give them people to fight. That's exactly what's happening. But anyway, that's funny. But there are, like, a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of doctors. There are quite a few doctors and a couple of studies that are behind it. And it is proving to be a fairly effective treatment, not cure.
Mm-hmm.
Because the problem is never fixed. You're just refocusing where your body is
Something's
attacking.
covering it up pretty much.
So it's a treatment.
Interesting.
You'll have to keep getting it.
Huh.
Isn't that just the craziest thing you've ever heard?
That's pretty interesting.
We have become too clean of a species for our own good.
They say washing your hands too much is bad for you because you're supposed to be exposed to like a certain amount of
germs, so
well,
your immune system
also you're
functions.
killing the good bacteria too.
Right.
It's killing
Yeah, you take
99% bacteria.
Antibiotics.
Yeah.
It's killing all the it's killing all even the good bacteria that you need.
probiotics. That's where it's at.
Right.
Kimchi. Eat it up. Cabbage, fermented cabbage, and all that shit.
That's that sauerkraut. It's like the
Yeah.
best.
Fermented sauerkraut, not pickled sauerkraut.
Right. It's the best probiotic I think there is.
So anyway, my friend Hardline over here has asthma, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be willing to infect your bowels with
Man,
worms?
here's the thing. Isn't it like asthma because you have like a slight like immunity deficient? So you're gonna put something else in your body that you're gonna fight.
Yeah, but it's gonna boost it to fight it. Your body. It's just like whenever you, let's say you get.
So
in a
it
hot
boosts
tub.
like everything.
Yeah, when you get in a hot tub and you get your body really hot above a certain degree, your body automatically triggers your marrow to produce white blood cells. It's just an effect because it thinks that you're sick and you have a fever. So it's like, oh, we gotta fight.
So that's
something,
good
get out
for
there.
you.
So it's good for you. Yes, you're more healthy.
Like a sauna and shit.
exactly.
Hmm.
Like a sauna.
Interesting.
It's just a little trick.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy we've learned to
And
trick
then
our
you
bodies?
deprive yourself of oxygen with the
To
training
produce
mask.
red blood cells.
Yeah. So
You'll be the healthiest, fittest.
I got it.
But-
Sauna and an oxygen or a training mask
I
at the
did
same
find this
time.
out. Whenever you produce extra red blood cells like that, you increase your risk of blood clot because the blood is more packed with blood cells instead of a thinner, more freely flowing. Just imagine like a river. I mean, do you want a whole bunch of things in there going through, or do you want just a few at a time going through? Kind of like that.
Makes sense.
Anyway,
Huh.
I've heard that.
So
So you could be
Man.
like, I'm jogging, I'm healthy.
and then how do you get rid of? Can you get rid of the hookworm?
They're sterile.
Ever?
Yeah, you can kill them whenever you want. They're sterile.
How
They
do you
never
kill
leave
'em?
the-
They just like plant them in you and they stay in one spot.
You probably swallow them or get a shot in the stomach or some way to get them to your stomach area.
And then how do you kill them? How do you get them out? How do you?
I'm sure you could just take some type of.
Aren't they supposed to stay in there though? Isn't that the whole point?
Well, the whole
Like
point
how-
is-
yeah,
is-
do you-
but
you
if
never
you ever
take-
wanted to get rid of them, I know there's a way you can just. Like,
So you
hey, I
can
wanna
live
get
with
rid of
this hookworm and then you won't have side effects to that.
No. Because they're not breeding. The problem with hookworms is they get in there and next thing you know you're infested with them and they're just sucking your blood and living off of it.
These ones aren't breed. There's just a few.
There's this like.
So that's
two or
why you'd have
three.
to get injected
better
every
hope.
so
No,
often.
It's a treatment. It's not a cure. It's
Right.
a treatment.
So assumably, if you ever wanted to stop, you just wouldn't get any more treatments. Those ones would die off, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
I would
okay.
think.
I'm sure they
anyway.
would run their life cycle eventually.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
I saw on like 1,000 Ways to Die that some chick ate a tapeworm to
lose
lose
weight.
weight. Yes.
And she died.
And it was like it got so
8 foot long.
huge. Like yeah.
How'd they pull it out?
She
Please
died.
say
I don't
what.
know. I have
Oh,
no
she
idea.
died?
Like yeah, she
Didn't get
died.
enough nutrients.
Yeah, it was eating everything, and she was just like shriveled up to nothing, and like.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. That's gross. She's like, I just want to lose about 8 pounds.
Yeah.
But little does she know that the hookworm is growing too, so you're not losing any weight.
There's a tapeworm.
The tapeworm, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's nuts.
Get your
That
worms
is
right.
nuts, yeah, I'm sorry.
We know you don't know that much about worms.
How could somebody hate exercising so much
That
that they would literally eat a fucking live worm
yeah, yeah,
and then just
right.
like work out?
Man.
Like,
or just
if a
eating
girl
right.
ever told me, like, and she was like good looking, she's like, yeah, I have a bunch of worms inside me.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Gotta
yeah,
pass.
okay, never mind. Yeah,
I'm trying
I'd
to
be-
go on I'm trying to lose weight, but I love milkshakes, so I ate this worm to eat the milkshake for me. I can eat anything I want.
Chocolate.
I can eat
It's so
whatever.
hard for me to die.
It's the perfect diet plot.
But you know, why do people get so big that they can't walk? You know, I mean, I wouldn't put it past humans to do anything.
Oh hell
Yeah.
no. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's
There's
what I
some
watch
Twisted people out there, so
when I-
anything's possible.
when I watch that extreme weight loss with
Yeah.
Chris Powell.
Yeah.
He always talks to him and he's just like, what happened? You know, and then that makes you think like, yeah, something happened. Like something they made them not give a fuck that they're gonna just get
You
boom.
don't care though, but
I don't care. I'll drop them all day long. That they don't
Part of
care
my
that
style.
that they're just gonna die from it. You know,
Yeah.
like they're getting that out of control. But he always asks what happened, and you know something happened.
That caused them to start
Yeah.
overeating.
I
or
mean, a lot
something?
of them were like used to be athletes, or you know, they used to be fit people most of the time,
Yeah.
and you know, something happened.
you guys
Huh.
tired about?
Well.
Are you guys tired of hearing about Ebola yet, or is that?
Oh my god, I was tired about it. Probably by the third post. I
I'm
read on
not sure if I
Facebook.
still believe if it's real or not.
Well, I don't know. It is a real disease, but I am totally more worried about getting hit by a car on the highway on my way home.
The odds
right?
of that happening are astronomically higher than the
Yeah,
odds
oh
of you.
yeah. I'm worried
Yeah.
about eating too much red meat and dying of a heart attack
Yeah.
before I'm worried about Ebola. Like, I
That's
gotta
what
lay off
blows
the
my
steak,
mind.
Man. I can't keep eating
You're
one
gonna
do
steak
it.
a day.
You're
Fucking
gonna-
smoking cigarettes and eating cheeseburgers. Like Ebola is gonna kill me. It's like, no, dude.
What?
eh.
Ebola?
yeah.
No way, shut down Texas.
I saw a thing
I
on
shouldn't
Fox
say that about
News,
Texas.
which you know, Fox News obviously take it with a grain of salt. Any kind
Yeah.
of news network like that.
I like laughing
But-
at all of them.
But it said it was like guidelines for something Ebola, and one of them was do not travel outside of the United States. Like just period. Like it didn't elaborate on like Ebola, you know, like danger. Like don't leave the United States. Like if you're gonna go to fucking Canada and
Trying
get
to
Ebola,
separate
you
the
know,
people,
like
huh?
like I don't get
People
like, am I
separate.
gonna go to the UK and get Ebola? It's so it's just
Yeah.
crazy. I thought.
Yeah, that is funny. But anyway, I think people just get a little crazy sometimes.
It's
Yeah.
media. The
It's
media
absolutely
has
the
made
media,
it, and if
dude.
you fall in,
Absolutely
like I
the
stopped
media.
believing anything
Listen.
until I like see it.
It is kind
Yeah.
of media, but it's like a 28-year-old saying, "Oh well, my parents are horrible, so that's why I am where I am." You know, I mean,
Yeah, it
at
doesn't. It
some
doesn't give
point-
people
At some
an
point,
excuse to be ignorant.
Yeah, you gotta be like, okay, yeah, my parents were very horrible, but you
Right.
know, I'm gonna make a life for myself and try to do what's right.
Yeah. The problem is people see clickbait articles, you know, like
yeah, I know.
you'll never
What's
guess
the
what
one?
happens next, you know,
Seen
blah
the
blah blah.
UFC one the
Share,
other
share,
day.
share, 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 and they don't even read it. You know.
What was the one you posted? It was from the UFC. It was BJ Penn's website, and he was like, he said something ridiculous, and when you clicked on it and read the story, it was totally twisted and manipulated into a headline that was very shocking.
About who? About what?
About someone being scared or something. I can't remember.
Oh man.
It's just like 3 days ago, man.
I posted a lot of them.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, it was exactly, it was like the definition of twisting a story to get the click.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then
No,
the
it drives me
ad.
crazy.
So, you know,
man.
I give him respect for nailing me, and I'll just have to look out for that. You know, I mean, I won't click on anything from that whatever website it was.
The worst ones are like the BuzzFeed, Uprocks, and all that are all like just clickbait
World Star.
mania, man. Now I like some World Star
I do
actually.
too.
Dude, one of the funniest video.
McDonald's fight.
You ever watch E-Bombs World? You guys ever get on E-Bombs World?
Negative.
No.
Oh man, dude, and you probably remember it from a long time ago. People used to get soundboards on there, but it's still going strong. It's like a comedy website. I watched this video on there one time that was called "The Quietest Fight You'll Ever Hear," and it was a bunch of deaf people had a Halloween party, and they're all. It starts out, you know, the video, whatever, and it's somebody just recording on their cell phone, you know, and these two deaf guys are starting to get in a fight.
With words. Like,
And dude, they're making. I don't know if you've ever been around a deaf person, remember, but they kind of make like and I'm not trying to make fun of deaf people, but like you know,
Mumbling, yeah.
and these two guys are going back and forth, and they're like doing the signs and everything. They end up getting in a fist fight, like, and it's totally quiet, and all you hear is just the other people, you know, around, because everybody there is all
deaf.
and they're all, you know, they're trying to get them out, but the comment section was the best part. It's the first comment on there. Somebody put, I wonder if any of them are signing World Star Hip Hop because they're trying to fight. And then somebody, the best one was, wait a minute, how do they know when trick-or-treaters come to the door?
Oh, God.
Oh, it's terrible.
Some of the worst come out.
Oh,
on the
my
internet. That is
God.
sure.
I felt so bad for laughing, but
Trolls.
damn it. It was
You
funny.
see, this is the internet is the reason why I think people should be able to. I believe in a free business model. You should be able to hire whoever you want, pay for whoever you want, serve whoever you want. If you don't want to serve white people, black people, Asian people, you should have that right. Because I want to know who thinks like that. You know what I mean?
I would,
depriving-
yeah, that's.
You're
Yeah.
depriving me of seeing how people really are. I may be giving a guy's business that he doesn't, you know, he doesn't believe.
And
with
that
the
was
same
the whole,
values that I have, and I don't even know it because he's hiding it so well.
That was my whole point with the Chick-fil-A thing. Whenever they came out against gay rights and everything,
Okay.
I'm very pro gay rights, whatever. Like
Okay.
I said before the show started, anybody should be able to do whatever the hell they want, you know, whatever. But my whole point with that, when people were like, it's freedom of speech, you're on our freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. My whole point was, no one's saying you can't say that. People are saying you're a fucking dickhead
Yeah.
because you're saying that, you know,
I
like
can't
nobody's.
remember what the exact controversy was, so I don't know.
Well,
I have to go back.
they basically came out and said that they were against gay marriage, and people got angry because
I mean,
they took that
Christian
stance.
company, so
My-
I would
and-
expect that from
Right, and that was my point. You know, they can have that viewpoint if they want, whatever. I'm not going to argue that they can't say that.
Yeah, and if you don't
My
like
whole
it,
point was
it's-
against the people who were saying that that it was a freedom of speech issue, that their freedom of speech rights were being violated because people were angry about it.
No.
And that was my point, is it doesn't protect
speech
you from
works for
backlash
everyone.
from what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you can say
absolutely.
whatever you want,
Absolutely.
but people are going to call you a dickhead if you say dickheaded things, you know?
I agree with that totally. I'm all
Yeah.
for that.
I don't know
should be
how
able
we
to
got
say
derailed
whatever
all
you
the way onto that, but
No, you should be able to say whatever you want. That's
Yeah.
by the way, this is the ADD podcast. Blue Wall Podcast / ADD podcast because
I'll
we
fit
will-
right in then, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
for
We're
sure.
on a 15
We'll go
second
anyway.
delay, so sometimes when people comment on things we're talking about 15 seconds ago, I feel like,
It's a what?
man,
15
how long
seconds.
has it been? Like,
That's why you
I
have the
haven't been talking
notebook
about
then.
that
What the
forever,
hell
right?
are we? Oh.
15
it's like
seconds is
15
a lot
minutes.
of time in
Yeah,
a
15 seconds,
conversation.
yeah.
Did I say minutes?
I said minutes
Oh.
by accident.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. But
Okay, yeah, but anyway,
Anyhow.
yeah, so
talking
yeah,
about
I
whatever.
agree with freedom for sure. For people to do
I agree
whatever
with
they want
freedom because I'm an American.
Yeah.
I'm
Freedom ain't free.
because we need to get back to using money. What its original purpose is a tool, and if we use it as a tool, we can have a very excellent society using nothing but money and civil courts for rule of law, and then of course, some major laws: don't kill people, don't take people's stuff, don't tell people what to do with their life.
Use your goddamn turn signal.
Use your turn signal.
Yeah.
Or don't use it. You know what I mean? If you don't have to use it, I guess. But if
Ugh.
someone hits you in your ass and you don't use it,
That
then-
pisses me off though. It's like just
Yeah.
if you would have had it on, I would have known what you were trying to do.
what if
you
it was
would
broke
avoid
and
a
it just broke
situation.
though?
Man,
Well, that's an exception.
Huh?
I feel like
Huh?
that's an
Huh?
exception.
there is but
No,
there's
then you do
only
the
a
arm
small
thing. Then you
percentage.
do the arm thing.
Yeah, you should. If you know it's broken, get your hand out the window.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Assured clear
Yeah.
distance. So if you're
Or I'm
behind
in
that
rage.
person, you should
Yeah.
always be looking for them to stop suddenly.
Mhm.
When you-
Yeah, but it's just
See, this is why there's so many wrecks in America and like places like Germany and things of that nature. Places like that, they have like strict road laws. Like you're not allowed to do anything else while you're driving, especially on the autobahn.
Yeah, because you're going.
200 miles per hour.
I actually hitchhiked a little bit around the Autobahn,
Oh yeah.
and
I think we've wasted enough time, giving people a chance to get in.
Well, we're also gonna say if you are tuning in and you want to ask any questions or make any comments on the social stream,
Yep.
you can do that on the chat line. You go and start a free Ustream account of your own,
Or you
and
can
that's all you do. And then that way you can make comments and see the. I don't even know if
send
they can see
messages
it,
straight to Facebook if you need to, or Twitter if you need to.
but it's just on the chat line selection of it under the menu. Once you get it, right?
Got it? Yeah, I mean that sounds about right.
So if anybody's out there and can comment, let us know what's up.
What's going on
Some
so
people
far?
out there.
Is the lighting good? We changed the lighting a little bit. We
Yeah, well, yeah. We had a lighting blowout.
got my
before.
mic fixed. Miggity mic
Yeah,
fixed
it's all
it.
good.
Doing good. Got Tom Edwards here tonight. We're about ready to get into his story, which I got to talk about one other off-subject thing because I'm so
I'm
disappointed.
ready.
I just found out something so disappointing. For the 50th episode, I shared my story of my my 9-day adventure. You know, I mean, I thought it was amazing until I probably hear your story and I'll be like, man, I really haven't done anything. Gosh. But we went whitewater rafting for 3 days down in West Virginia. Went out to Colorado. Did I tell you about some of this earlier? Anyway,
no, you didn't. You gave me like a brief overview, but you didn't really get
went
into
out to
details.
Colorado, seen Wild Bill's grave. Hiked around a little bit in Colorado. There was a blizzard whenever we were leaving Colorado. Had a scary ass drive down the mountains. It was horrible. I was going like 15 white knuckled like.
Oh, the mountains out there are no joke, man.
Yeah, it came
Yeah.
out of nowhere too, and it was like I couldn't see 10 feet ahead of me. It was crazy.
Yep.
Got down under all that. Drove down to the Grand Canyon. Got there about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Did
Parked.
you, whenever you went there, did you go through Mesa Verde, or did you go the more northern route from Colorado? Mesa Verde is like the bottom southwest corner of Colorado. It's with the
I do not believe
Pueblos.
we went through that, or else I would have recognized that sign. But watched the sunrise, recorded that. I actually live streamed it from the Dirtbag Television because I didn't write down the account app information for.
That's right. It was more for the dirtbag.
Dirtbags anyway. It was
Yeah.
a dirtbag trip, so
Yeah.
it doesn't
We can
matter.
just share it on the.
What's
Yeah.
the Dirtbag Television?
Oh, my dirtbag friends that I have, we whenever we go do something badass, if we can broadcast from like rafting or anything, we try to do it.
Oh, that's cool.
So you know,
I like it.
if we can get some good like 4G service, it's
Mhm.
great. I mean, Ustream's pretty amazing, honestly, if you think about it. This is the one crazy thing that I think about it, and I'm like, man, that is mind blowing. Right now, either the entire planet could be watching you, or not one person in the world.
Yeah, that's absolutely
How
true.
weird is that? That is weird. Like, that's a weird thing to think about.
Are you s-
Also, depending on how long this technology lasts, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000,
Mhm.
5,000 years from now, people are going to be able to look back on this at Deep Deacon. So my great-great-grandkids are going to be able to look back and say, oh, yeah, that's my great-great-grandfather.
Where is all of it stored?
Just in the annals
Where's
In the
all of your
cloud.
YouTube videos stored? Is it in that big computer in Germany, the Beast?
I was wondering about that the other day because everything on the cloud isn't really in the cloud,
Yeah.
obviously.
There's gonna
Somewhere
but it could
physical.
also if it's condensed down to like what I was thinking, like we have hard drives and shit like that.
Yes.
A lot of information on one little hard
Look how
drive
quickly we're...
that could be destroyed, and there would be no traces.
One solar
ever.
flare,
Yeah,
The
I'd
Gone.
say,
key
you'd be
is
toast.
redundancy if we put it in several spots.
Right,
Right.
Many
yeah.
copies.
that's why you back it up with the
Back
disk
it
and have
up.
something.
Yeah.
And
but-
look how we've, just advancements in storage capacity alone are. We had paper and pencil, and we were storing things on this. Actually, we were storing things in rocks and chiseling it in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? We went from that. This was a pretty good invention.
Yeah.
And this was amazing. You know what I mean? This is like Star Trek. This is better than a tricorder.
Yeah.
Jetsons.
Yeah. That's what I saw something the other day. It was like if you met somebody from the 1700s to the 1800s and they asked you what is the most amazing thing that we've done, since then, all of everything that we know about the entire world you can carry in your pocket. You can access from your pocket, and we use it to look at pictures of cats.
Unless you lose service.
Yeah.
And then this is a big paperweight or maybe a weapon of some kind, or you could break the glass and light a fire with it. But
You could still have information without
that's true. You
service.
could record information on there, so you could store
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
My phone stores
Yeah,
a crap
yeah.
ton. Because I could take probably like 3 hours of video and like store.
Have-
Actually, probably more.
Have you
than that
seen
if I-
how those new Chevys are having Wi-Fi in
Yeah,
them?
you know?
4G,
No, how much
you
LTE,
gotta
and
pay for that
Wi-Fi or
service?
something?
Yeah, you know that'll be monthly.
So you could be
Yeah.
out camping and you're
Have your own Wi-Fi hotspot.
That'd be
See,
sick.
now that would
Yeah.
be nice for the Project Badass.
Yeah.
crew, you know what I mean?
that would be.
I
Is
would
that an
like
Always
to-
Sunny rip, Project
Yeah,
Badass?
You know it, for
I got a good Always Sunny reference for you guys whenever we get down to.
Okay. Yeah,
some
we'll
of
get to it
travel and
eventually.
stuff,
I
yeah.
probably, hopefully, I'll catch it, man. The dentist system.
The dentist system.
That's.
I've got a shirt with the dentist
Oh
system
my
on
gosh, that's a horrible episode. It's just horrible. Who thinks of those things? Those guys are geniuses to be that creative.
it.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So you play instruments?
all the way back to Thomas Edward.
Oh, you're
Is
go-
Tom short
yeah.
for Tom?
Yeah, short for Thomas. Yeah,
So
I go by Tom
you play many instruments. What's your favorite?
though.
And least
I
favorite?
mostly play guitar. My favorite's probably piano, but I don't play enough of it really to play it
You
out.
like the sound of it or the feel of it? Like
Both.
whenever you're playing it.
I just to me it's more difficult to do.
Yeah.
So whenever I hear somebody do something crazy on piano,
It's like,
it's more impressive to me
yeah.
than see, because I should rephrase that because I play rhythm guitar. I don't play lead guitar. So I'm comparing rhythm piano to rhythm guitar, not to like shredding solos or anything. Ukulele I've been playing for a few years and I've been kind of getting more and more into that
Easier
lately.
to travel with, right?
Yeah. When I travel, I take, well, you can see here on a picture. I know they can't see it, but I have a travel guitar and then I keep a ukulele in the front pocket of the case and a foot tambourine and some shakers and stuff like that.
Let me just do a little background real quick. So you've been playing guitar for probably quite some time, right? Because I knew you when you were very young.
I actually didn't play guitar whenever I worked with you.
really?
I sang and played piano for, I want to say, a year or 2 years before I picked up a guitar.
Okay.
But about 10 years playing music and like taking it seriously.
Reading
Yeah.
music and just knowing like.
I still can't read music. I do
Oh,
everything by
really?
ear or tablature. Yeah.
That is interesting.
I think there's a few people that agree with me.
Okay.
A group of musicians, I should say, which is probably the majority these days, think that sheet music is kind of necessary. Now that we're
It's
in an
unnecessary.
age where tablature is available and YouTube videos, showing you how to play stuff. So you don't really need it, I don't think, anymore. Before, if you wanted to learn a song, you could
Right,
either
you
listen
had
to
learn
it and
how
try
read
it,
the music.
or you'd have to get a sheet music book.
Yeah.
There was
Now,
no-
if I want to learn a song, I can either listen to it like they used to, or go to Google and type in,
someone will teach you how
Rolling
to do it.
Stones Wild Horses tab,
Do you
boom,
see
and
any
it's easy.
advantage to knowing how to read music?
Yeah, I do think it would be an advantage for piano because there's no good tablature for piano.
I heard somebody say the other day that
Francois was on, and he said it was good.
was it him? It might have been him that said if somebody can play the piano, they can play anything.
Yes, that's
Oh.
true. It's and yeah,
or something like yeah.
because
I think he did say that, but then he also said something else too. Go ahead.
it teaches you. I won't delve too much into it, but it teaches you kind of the basics of an instrument and everything. I know it probably isn't really, but it seems like it's centered around a piano. Whenever since I started on piano, anytime I learn a new instrument, in my head I'm visualizing the piano keys,
Yeah.
and it's easier for me to remember that.
The keys.
Yeah,
He says that whenever someone knows music, they can read it and they can clap it out and get everything and they can know the music. You know what I mean?
now see, since I don't read sheet music, I don't know.
Yeah. So
So
I think
I-
that would be pretty amazing to be able to have that
It would.
skill.
Don't get me wrong; it's absolutely an advantage and something that I wish I had taken the time to learn to do. But I don't think it's as necessary as it used to be.
And probably whenever you don't have a recording device to record a song that you are working on, to be able to write the
Mhm.
bar, you know what I mean, write what you need without,
Well, you still do that with tablatures. That's what I do.
yeah.
It's tablatures. For anything where I'm doing a type of solo kind of thing, if it's just chords, I just write the chord above the lyric. So just G, A,
Yeah.
B, whatever. But it would be definitely an advantage for a lot of things. Some musician jobs, if you get into professional music gigs, which are out there, cruise ship gigs
Yeah.
and stuff on Broadway shows and stuff
Yeah.
like that, they will absolutely require you to know sheet music because they want you to be able to sit there and flip through a book when people ask, can you play this? And you're supposed to be able to flip through and play it,
It's like the plot from Drumline.
I've never seen drum.
Can't read the music, yo. I don't even care. I'm good. I'm wicked good. I'm better than everybody. Who cares if I can't read music? Start me first. He's like, no.
What's
You're
that
gonna learn
from?
it. Drumline. You've never seen
I've never
Drumline?
seen that yet.
No.
I don't think I've seen a single Nick Cannon movie ever.
Oh man, it was pretty good.
Was it?
I love like band music and drums and brass and
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. So I like that kind of music. I like marching band music because I like a lot of brass and horns.
You ever listen to any like the crooners stuff, like 40s Sinatra and Dean Martin and all that?
Yes, occasionally. Yeah, I listen to.
I've
a little
really
bit.
gotten
I
into
like
that last
to pride
year.
Dean
myself
Martin.
on my listening accoutrements. Like I listen to a lot of music.
That's the same thing I do.
Many
Wide range, yeah.
Because heck, you got to hear a little bit of everything. You got to not just listen to one song from that genre or whatever they're trying to do, because it may be horrible.
Yeah.
It may be legitimately a bad song. And
I like Pandora a lot for that because I've found so much new music off Pandora. Just cleaning or working in the office or whatever, and just have it playing. Put one of my favorite bands in or a new group that I want to try out, and then I'll just be like, "Who the hell's this?" Look it up. Tons of music I found that way.
Awesome.
So, are we gonna get a sample of some
yeah,
music?
Yeah,
Play
yeah.
anything? Well,
Yeah, I can play some uke.
I'd like to get a
let's
couple
talk,
in.
You want to
if we-
get one in right now
one
and then
befo-
talk about traveling? Because I
Yeah,
gotta
let's
know
do
this
that.
story, man. 'Cause
Okay.
I dig the Let me just go off topic one more time. I'm sorry.
You do that. I'll start getting this ukulele out here. While
I'm
you're doing
not.
that.
Yeah.
I don't often give money to people that beg on the road. I know that doesn't make me a good person. Doesn't make me a bad person.
We're gonna argue about that in a minute then.
Okay. It doesn't make me a good person or a bad person because I don't like to do that. But 3 times I have given money to somebody. Well, more than 3 times because occasionally I do give money to somebody and I know they're not using it for what they're saying, but I still do it. But I don't do it often. But 3 times I actively pulled over and sought people to be like, here, I mean, what's going on? All 3 times they were traveling along 50 west towards
Yeah.
Cincinnati. And I caught him almost all 3 times at that gas station or a little bit further past the gas station in Slate Mills. And I'm like, here's some money. Stop at the gas station, get something to eat. And get what you need
It
for-
sounds bad, but I do that stuff on a purely, extremely judgmental basis.
What?
And in other words, if I
Chubbs, is
see,
your mic on?
I think
Sorry.
my mic's on. Can you hear me?
I don't think I can hear him on my headphones, but I can hear him.
All right.
Oh, maybe nobody can hear me. Is somebody saying something?
No, I'm trying to figure it out. Nobody said anything.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're good.
Go ahead. Okay, purely what?
All right, so yeah, purely judgmental. In that, if I see perfect example, that guy that sits by Walmart, that people have posted pictures of
Yeah.
buying big screen TVs and booze and everything, I don't give that guy any money. He's not doing anything. He could, he's doing it specifically because it's easier than to go get a job. If I see somebody sitting with a backpack or something, and I know they're out traveling or something like that, I'll give them money because to me that's different than just sitting around begging and not doing anything with
Yeah.
their life. That guy sitting down at Walmart day after day isn't doing anything with his life. The person begging on the side of the road, he's trying to go see something and try to live his life. And to me,
Right.
I've been that guy before, and I've been the guy that's hoping to get $10 so I can get some food after I'm done playing.
Okay, what?
And there's a karma aspect. If you see somebody playing music and you're going to be busking, you give them music and
I
hope.
wish I have done. See, I have always wanted to do these kind of travels, but my wife thinks I'm somehow mentally not right because of it.
Dude, a lot of this.
Humbling, right?
A lot of the stuff I did, I wouldn't recommend. It wasn't fun while I did
Wasn't
it. I'll
fun.
put it that way.
I
yeah.
mean, a lot of things we do in life aren't fun while we do them, but whenever we get to the top and we look down at what we accomplished, we're like, yeah, man, that is.
Yeah, I don't regret any of it. I'll say that,
Yeah,
man.
okay,
You know.
There you go. Come on. Sorry. Get
You're
out of here,
fine.
man. Come on. Like, hey, you got a dog? Yeah, I smell it. Get out of here. Go. any great ukulele players that you've listened to inspire you to?
Not really, man.
You just do your own thing and that's it.
Yeah, the uke, I kind of just, I thought it would be cool to learn because I didn't know anybody around here who played it. I'm always trying to be like the unique person, I guess.
I knew a guy named Russell. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be neat to do it. I always thought they sounded cool and stuff.
You
So
know
I started
why
doing
I
it.
like the ukulele? Because I think I may try it. Just give it one more shot. Just because I've tried to play guitar 3 different times. Like I've really sat down and tried for a couple months each time to try and get it. I know that's not a lot of time at all to learn something, but my hands just hurt so bad when I do it. I think I just don't. Get my hands
The uke
hurt.
won't really do that as
And
much
that's what I was thinking, 'cause it has
because
a
a lot
small
of the
neck.
chords is like 1 finger, 2 fingers. Like there's just not much to it. So I always tell people they're really easy to learn.
4 strings.
Yeah, it's only
Yeah,
4 strings,
I
and
should
they're
get
That's where you should have went.
and
Look,
they're-
I'm gonna get
Look at
one.
this
and they're
guy,
nylon, so it
he's
won't. It
collecting
doesn't really hurt your
instruments over
fingers
here.
like a guitar does.
Oh, it's
'Cause they're-
nylon strings.
Yeah, so you
They'll
can.
last forever, man.
Yeah, they won't hurt your. Which you can see. That's from playing guitar. I've got like channels in my fingers.
Oh wow, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. I generally will play like 20 minutes or half an hour worth when I'm playing a show
This looks
out
like
of
it's
3
a
hours.
fancy little doodad.
No, it's
I
not
like
that.
the wood.
It's electric.
It's like
and acoustic.
$150 jobby. Yeah, it's acoustic electric. I
Wow.
have another one. The one that I carry traveling
Let me
is just
stop you right
strictly-
there. $150 is a lot to me because I am a cheap skate. So
Hey, they have those stick guitars were like 60. I
you
think.
casually say $150, I'm like, ugh.
Well, whenever you think of versus most
yeah,
instruments,
that's
they're
true. That's
expensive,
true. Like
man.
horns.
You can get a cheaper one too.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You could
Probably.
get one for 50 or $75. A really nice ukulele is like $300 to $500.
Yeah,
So they're not
that
on
makes
the
sense.
range that a lot of guitars. Like if you want a really nice guitar, you're looking at like anywhere from $1,000 on the low end of the spectrum to 5
10
or 6,000.
grand.
Yeah, or 10. Yeah, the sky's the limit really with them. So
Now you write original work too, so
yeah,
have you
tonight
written,
I'll play a couple tunes tonight, and they're both original songs.
Alright.
that I'll
have
play
you written
tonight.
something originally just for the just for the sound of the ukulele?
Well, I've found some of my best writing, in my opinion, has been done on the uke, and a lot of times I would transcribe it and play it on guitar
Yep.
later. But the 2 songs that I'm playing tonight were written on the uke originally.
Perfect.
The first one I'll play, I still do on the uke at every show. The second one, it depends. Sometimes I'll do it on the uke, sometimes I'll do it on guitar. So, yeah, it depends on the mood I'm in, or if I've already got the uke out,
Yeah.
somebody wants to hear it, or whatever.
Let's do a big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Edwards on the ukulele with some original.
Oh
work.
yeah, this is an original called "Take Our Time." And the other one might be a little tricky because I usually have a capo, and I forgot it at the house. I always forget something. I don't know, but I feel like I've seen you before. Haven't we been down this road 100 times or more? Is it me? Hey, is it you? I don't know. All I know is I've seen this before, heard this before, done this before, and you can take your time, take your time, take your time. You can take your time. Whoa, 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 yeah. Hey, thank you. I don't know if my vocals were too loud there. I was trying
Nah,
to
man.
point it away from the
That was
mic.
Nah,
good.
man.
I think it was good.
Well, I mean, that sounded great to me, but
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I have no musical talent, so I'm not the best
Yeah.
judge of musical talent. You know what I mean? Anytime someone plays a guitar or an instrument or
I'm a
sings
professional,
without sounding,
and I tell you it was good. What are you laughing about?
using the term loosely, professional there.
Hey, I bought a harmonica for $2.99. It was like a little plastic one to play with.
Oh, you've got an impressive collection. 2 drums and a guitar, man.
I noticed your
Yeah.
cajon drum there. Yep.
Yeah.
The guy that plays with me, the guy that you met out at Paper City Music Fest, he plays cajon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what he plays when we jam together.
I'm learning. I just bought it and started doing.
They're a
it.
lot of
Like,
fun.
I have no. Yeah.
Actually, he traveled with me too, and we made a cajon drum that collapses. It comes apart, and he carried it in a
Wow.
bag, which I can pull up a picture. I don't know how we would get it up to the viewers here.
You just share it on the Facebook page.
Okay, well, I'll share it on their Facebook page, either
For
during
sure,
or
that-
sometimes after
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
But I'll show these guys really quick. It's if I can find it.
It just collapses down in on itself. Is that what you said?
Well, kind of.
It'd be the box, like the box one.
Oh, the box one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just search it here.
I did see a picture of you jamming with some dude in a house or something, and he was playing one of those. I said he's playing the box drum, Jeremy. This dude really
Me?
is you, not you.
Oh.
Him.
Oh. I was like, "There's pictures of me out
It
there
is, yeah.
doing
Yeah, of course
something."
there
Yeah,
are.
what we did was we took the front piece. If you're unfamiliar with a cajon drum, it's a box, and the front of it is a
Well,
fiberglass panel that has snare
grab it.
beads behind it.
We can grab it. And
There you
show
go,
it.
yeah. Which I'll wait for him to get that.
Yeah, man. Give a little look-see here.
Yeah. Okay, so the front here is just a fiberglass panel with snare beads behind it, and it's a wood box. So what we did was we took the panel off of my cajon drum that I had, and I just got some plywood and made different side panels for it. You know, put a big hole in the
Yeah.
back and everything, and then we took wing nuts, and you just reach inside, screw it all together with wing nuts, and then they'd all fold down into a flat. Which you
Did
should
that
be able
mess
to
with
see.
the sound any?
No, it sounded great.
Made the whole drum, though?
Yeah, we made it. Yeah, you can see a
Except
picture
for
of
the
it
snare
here. On,
you took off of your other one.
yeah, we took the snare. Well, let's see if I find it.
I want to get one with the guitar strings in it. or
Yeah, you can
something
see.
like
Here it is finished.
that.
Nice, yeah.
And
Did
then
you paint
here's-
it?
Yeah, yeah.
What'd you just
That's
use
it.
like
See, it's all flat panels.
Was it a stain
and then
or an
just-
actual paint?
There's a stain, and
Yeah,
then we put
looks
a
nice,
clear
man.
coat on it.
It looks like a
And
deep,
yeah,
rich mahogany.
He carried it in the side satchel, and man, that thing, that bag that it was in, got
There you
packed
go.
with so much shit, dude. Throughout, like all the extra food, just everything. I felt so bad for him, man. He earned the nickname the Mule because
The mule.
we just
Hey, that's
fucking
what the dirtbag.
loaded him down with shit, man. And he's
Yeah.
never bitched. I mean, he's just whatever.
Wow.
The King Dirtbag Frank Nunziato. His nickname is the Mule on the AT. That's funny.
You make him carry all the shit.
Well,
no, he just is on. Oh, okay.
Your guy,
Oh.
No,
your
no.
guy is that way.
The
Okay.
dirtbag, no, he's just on the trail a lot, like an old mule. You know, he'll get up the hill, but it's going to be at his pace. You know. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Music or something.
Music, yeah.
But yeah, we're getting ready to get into his story. His
Oh yeah,
travels.
the travels. That's
Yeah.
what we're getting into.
Something we wanted to find out.
What was your first big trip that you went on that made you think, man, I want to go on a really big, like, you know what I mean?
Well, it all started when I was a kid. I was like 12 or 13. And my parents took me out west for the first time.
Okay.
I saw the Black Hills and Yellowstone and all that. And
Yeah.
that's whenever I was like, man, like I really want to see some more stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went out west a
Absolutely,
couple
man.
of times with friends when I was older. And after the second time I went out west and really traveled around a bunch, I was like, man, it's so much different, you know, in a 2-day drive from Ohio, you know, out west. Think of how different it is around the world, you
Yeah.
know. And so then I kind of got these ideas like you were talking about earlier, I had these ideas of just being a freaking homeless adventurer and just like
Yeah.
working my way around the world or whatever, which didn't really come to fruition like I envisioned in my
Wanted
head.
it to.
Well, I had a real job. I
Yeah.
worked for a big cell phone company, and there was a moment where I was like, oh, I can either take a promotion at this job or I can just go travel like I've always wanted to
Yeah.
do. And it was a big toss-up because I felt like I was damned if I did and damned if I didn't,
Yeah.
because if I did it, I was giving up like an actual career. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't go to college or anything, so
Yeah.
I was few and far in between that I'd find like a really good job like
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
So am I going to come back and like, you know, when I'm 30, be, you know, working a nothing job and being like, you dumbass, you threw it all away to go on fucking vacation.
yeah.
On the other hand, will I take it or regret the rest of my life never going and seeing the stuff, you know? And so I made the responsible decision to stay with the job.
Yeah.
And then like a couple weeks later, a girl that I'd been dating for a couple years found out she cheated on me.
Mm.
Lost her, and I was like a kind of a stepdad to her kids and stuff. All that. Another month later, whole franchise shut down at my job.
Oh,
Lost my
wow.
job. So then it was like, fuck it, let's do this. you
Yeah.
know? Like I called up my buddy.
Yeah, you
like,
made the wrong
hey,
choice, and you somehow
Yeah, like-
God gave you a second chance.
I
He's like,
always
get out of
say,
here,
like,
man. What are you
it's-
doing?
all of that was like the best, worst shit that ever happened to
Yeah.
me. Because like I never would have made the choice that ended up being the right choice for me.
Yeah.
So it's like the universe made it for me. I guess that sounds so cheesy.
Yeah.
But,
Oftentimes, the path we choose to avoid our destiny leads us right to
The
it.
stars were aligned.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Well, I have this to get into the actual story. I have a problem with having these big ideas and dreams in my head, and I just fucking sally forth and just
Do it,
jump
yeah.
balls first into
Yeah.
it. And this was just like that. I decided to do this and left within like 3 months, and I didn't have any money saved up, and so I just sold a bunch of shit. That's when I started playing music for a living. Once I lost the job, I was like, you know what? If I play enough shows, I think I could make at least
bit of
enough
money, yeah.
money like I used to make at my regular job, which I wasn't able to do until this year. But I did make a little bit of money before I left doing that, and that's when I came with the idea for a website, although it was a different website than the one I have now. So I got Corey, which is my buddy with the drum we were talking about,
Mhm.
and another guy, Aaron, who was going to take pictures and stuff. We all pooled our money together, and we just booked around the world plane tickets and just got super optimistic about it. Like, fuck it,
Overconfidence.
let's stop and see the pyramids on the way. Fuck it. We got laid over in New Zealand. Let's stay there for 2 weeks. Let's stay in Australia for 3 months. And we just kept adding shit to it. And just build up and build up and build up. And we're planning on being gone for almost a year. And realistically, if you want to do something like that, I would say a cheap, like a budgeted budget for 3 people would be $20,000 to $30,000, and that's cheap. You know, hostels, not going out every night, stuff like that. We left with about $4,000
Yeah.
total between the 3 of us. If that gives you an
Better
idea.
save that from food.
Yeah, I
So
spent
that's
like
it.
$3,000 for 1 month in Florida.
Yeah, dude, you
something
can.
like
And
that.
and in Europe was where we were going first for 2 months was the plan,
Wow.
and Europe is really really expensive.
So you ran out of money real quick.
Well, and the book that we'll talk about in a minute, you can kind of follow through my eyes how everything happened throughout
Yeah.
the plot line of the book. In other words, at the beginning you can tell, and it's funny, I didn't even realize this until I was proofreading back through everything I had written, because I wrote the whole book and everything, and it took me almost a year to write it. So I'm just now going back and reading the first chapters that I wrote. And it's like,
Did
I
you
wrote
write
the
some of
same
it while
way
you were
I
on the
lived it.
road?
No, not until I got home.
Okay.
I started.
Okay.
But at the beginning of the trip and in the beginning of the book, you can tell it's all about partying. Like, you know, we're meeting all these people in these hostels, getting hammered, you know, drinking beers and everything.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the trip, it was nothing like that, because first of all, that first week we flew into Spain is where we were at. We're partying, you know, all this stuff. We realized at the end of that first week we blew through almost $1,000, right? Of 4,000, you know, for a 10-month, and we're like,
Yo,
shit,
whoa.
something's gonna have to give,
Whoa.
you know, like
We gotta
Yeah.
we
stop
can't do this. So then, like the next week, we're like, okay, well, no more booze. Then
You
We're
still
cutting
in
that out.
Spain this next week?
We started moving through France. I
Now
think,
you're
at that
on
point.
road, right? You
Then-
flew into Spain, and now you're traveling by road, or
We were on trains and
Okay.
buses at that
Okay.
point. Well, that's what next.
Okay.
We realized.
get that backpack out and start
Damn.
walking, son.
Well, we walked quite a bit before then. It was still. It's funny. It's still actually trying to budget a little bit.
Yeah.
But once we got through that first week and realized we spent all this money, we were okay. No more partying. No more eating out in any kind of restaurants or anything. It's all grocery stores.
Yeah.
Over. Next week we still blow through a bunch of money. So eventually it gets down to the point where we're not taking trains. We're not doing anything. We're hitchhiking everywhere. We're sleeping under bridges, in the woods, on the side of the highway, wherever we can find.
What's your gear? What are you taking with you?
Well, here's where we just colossally just
Hold on. Let me stop
rammed
you.
ourselves in the
Before we
asshole,
go
man.
any
I
further,
mean,
let me stop you just 1 second. Is it weird being in a country where no one speaks English, or do a few people speak English?
It
Or
depends on the country. Absolutely. Spain and Italy were the fewest English speakers
Okay.
out of all the countries I
they
went
do
to.
it out of pride.
No, I think French do
French
it
do it out of
pride.
pride. I
French-
know I speak perfect English, but you
there's
know.
a part in the book about this where I was in Switzerland and met a French woman there.
Yeah.
I use the term met loosely, I should say, but we had been camped out in the woods for a few days, whatever, and I'm just trying to find a supermarket so we can get some stuff before we leave, whatever. And she's sitting on the park bench, and I walk up, parlez-vous anglais? I don't speak the language in perfect English. I'm like, well, obviously you fucking do,
a
like
little bit.
Yeah,
You
I'm
practice
like-
that one a lot.
and I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to hit on you or anything, ma'am. I'm trying to find food, like, a supermarket. I don't speak the language. Dove supermarché? Like, I don't speak. I'm like, you fucking bitch.
You
Are
know what I'm
serious?
saying.
Like, I just want to eat something. Why don't you just, like, point your
me.
finger?
Yeah,
Yeah.
point it.
Something. And yeah, they were just,
Wow.
But it was
French
like
are
it-
dicks.
they were really rude to us, man. And I came into it with an open mind. And I still say that I'll give France another chance because I try not to judge a place completely.
Well, even if they're full of dicks, it's still some pretty areas
But
to
the
go.
towns
you know.
that we were in, they were just super rude. Very beautiful, yes. Very, very
You know what I
beautiful
mean?
country.
So
So-
just to go see the Eiffel Tower, I'd put up with some people.
But Spain and Italy, not a lot of people speak English.
but they're friendly.
Very friendly.
Yeah.
Spain, I can't say enough how much I love Spain. The women there, I hope your wife isn't listening in on this, but if you ever want to go to Spain, I'm telling you, I have this theory.
They're very loose.
No, not
This
that.
is my
uh,
sister.
No, not that.
Eh?
But they're all beautiful, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that my theory is that 90% of the Spanish population is 20-something beautiful women. The remaining 10% is a mixture of women of other ages, men, and just old people in general.
And this is just in Spain. We're not talking about all Spanish countries, or just Spain.
Just Spain.
Yeah.
I'm going to Latin America this
Next.
year, so I don't
That's
know.
your next trip.
Yeah.
Your next
but
book.
Spain, oh my God, man. I'm telling you, whenever an ugly baby is born, the doctor just goes, no bueno, and then he clubs it and he throws it in the trash, man.
Sparta.
That's
It's
my
just
only-
like Sparta.
And then you go to the beaches and they're all naked, and you're like, I don't deserve this. Like I haven't been a good enough person to deserve this.
So I had to
When in
get.
Spain, did you guys go naked on the beach too?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. When in Spain, you
Yeah,
know,
dude.
shoot.
Hey, yeah.
This
we
is
were,
something-
we were pretty carefree at that point, but yeah.
This is
once
something
we-
about me. I enjoy being naked in my own house. I would love to be naked, like on the beach.
Dude, it's
Like,
awesome, man. Swimming
out
naked
in the
in the
sun,
Mediterranean.
yeah.
I mean, we went to this nude beach. We stayed there for like a couple days. We just camped on the beach, and it was in the middle of this big cove. It's like a giant catcher's mitt of rock, and the bay is in the middle of it.
Oh, cool.
And it's all just, I don't want to say a nudist colony because people didn't live there, but it's a nude beach or whatever. Yeah, I just wake up in the morning, strip down, hang out naked all day,
Let's go
get-
swimming.
jump in the Mediterranean. You
Clean
know,
off with
oh,
some of
man.
this salty Mediterranean water.
Yeah. it's
So I had
awesome.
to like it once you realize you're starting to run out of money. I had to start getting kind of scary. You're
This is,
over.
this is where things took a turn for the worst. Yeah. The biggest thing, the whole thing that holds this book together, the plot line of everything, is me and Aaron, the guy, the photographer. This is when we started to realize that we were two totally different people, and we, to put it in the very loosest of terms, did not get along at all.
I don't know.
He had brought more money up front than anybody. I
Yeah.
had planned on earning money along the way, doing computer work and playing music. So we pooled all our money together, like I said. after that first or second week, suddenly he turned it into, it was all like, it's my money. And it turned into us just at each other's throats all the time. And it got to where if I'm starving, I can't just go get food. I have to wait until we eat as a community, which is like once or twice a day. Rice every day, nothing but rice. And that's it. So
Rice
I'd
and
be
beans,
starving
son.
here, and I know we have money for like for me to go get something to eat, you know. And I got stranded under a bridge. I got sick under this bridge in Italy. And
What kind of sick? Drunk
like-
sick or like pukey
no,
sick?
this is like I said, past the point. Alcohol was out of the question.
Yeah.
Any type of fun activity.
Whoa. Yeah, alcohol. We don't got enough money for that.
Yeah, I'm
Water.
like, fuck alcohol. Give me like a
Rubbing
cheeseburger,
alcohol.
man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I woke up. Yeah, it was like a food poisoning type thing. Everyone ended up getting it, but yeah, just.
See, we told
stuff
you to
coming
stay
out
and
of
eat
everything.
rice.
But
You got to go get a cheeseburger,
ugh.
and now you got food poisoning.
Well, this is actually a good story. This is the Always Sunny reference. Okay, I'll just tell this story because it's pretty funny in and of itself. Okay, so we found out, long story short, in Italy that we could train hop. Like if we just jumped on trains, people wouldn't check the tickets. So we're just jumping on these trains.
What happens if they do check the ticket, though? Do you just get kicked
We
off?
found that out on our last
Okay,
train ride, and
nice.
we had to pay $200.
Oh,
But
fuck.
it still was cheaper than if we would have paid the whole time.
Yeah.
We took thousands of dollars worth of train
I
rides.
gotcha.
Italian government, if you're listening, ha take that,
Gotcha.
motherfuckers.
Class
But,
action lawsuit being
yeah.
filed
Somebody's
right
about to
now.
kick in the door.
Gets
Boom.
you 3.
You owe us
Anyway.
$3,000.
Yeah, man, I
Um,
riding the rails.
Oh well. Anyways, we had a couple days no sleep because just train to train to train. So we decided to just jump off the train in this random town, find this bridge, and we go down there to just sleep for a day or two. You know,
Yeah.
just get some rest or whatever. And I was sitting there laying out our sleeping bags on the gravel. You know, it's a dry creek bed
Yeah,
that we're
yeah.
in. And I look up, and there's this giant fucking 5-foot tall bird there, like a. I thought it was
Ostrich
an
or like a
ostrich at
flying
first.
bird?
Turns out it's an emu.
Emu. Yeah.
I thought it was an ostrich because I'd never heard of an emu before.
Bigger feathers.
Which
on
is
them.
still a huge mystery
Yeah,
to us because they're
absolutely.
not native to Italy. They're native to Australia. So
Whoa.
we don't know how, but this bird is standing there. I'm like, Corey, there's a giant fucking bird behind you. And that thing's just standing there. Ah. You know, we're like, what the hell? So we named it D because on Always Sunny, they always tell D she looks like a big bird.
Yeah.
In the Halloween episode where she's just the ostrich.
Yeah.
So we called it D. And anyways, that bird, dude, it was so weird. It lived like here's the bridge.
Yeah.
And then there's like 2 separators, you know, the supports for the bridge. We're in the middle here. Dee's nest, her apartment, was on the other side of this divider. And she would just come over during
She
the
didn't
day,
belong
like,
to anybody?
No, well, that's where I'm getting there, one step at a time here.
Yeah.
So
Kill
her apartment was over-
Chubbs.
and we're
Sorry,
wondering
man.
that. We're like, why is this fucking bird
Where's this
here?
emu coming from? What
And we
the-
noticed this giant pile of potatoes and oranges and stuff that's like under off of the side of the bridge or whatever. And we're sitting there. People don't know we're under there, obviously. We hear people talking up above us, and then just poof, a loaf of bread flies down off of the bridge. So it's like a community pet, and people were like throwing all
Feeding
this
it?
food down there. Yeah. Aaron walks over there and
Oh,
picks
potatoes.
up a potato. Perfectly good potato, man.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're cooking up potatoes.
Yeah.
Or bridge food, as we called it. I got sick the next
Oh,
day,
man.
coincidentally.
Wait, what,
Um,
did you cook it in a fire?
Yeah. Well,
There's no way you got
it,
sick
It
from that
wasn't
then.
food poisoning because we all got
Yeah.
the same thing days apart. It's some kind of virus.
Yeah.
I find that highly unlikely that it wasn't related to that somehow.
Yeah.
But
No, I don't.
there was a
don't.
virus on the potato.
No, you cook that thing, you're good to go,
keep in
man.
mind, though,
touched
dude, we
it,
had,
and then
you
we
can
had-
cook a turd
the
and
night
eat it.
before we had
It ain't gonna
slept
get
with
you
a
sick.
ton of homeless people in a train station.
Yeah,
on
exactly. You
benches,
probably got-
so it could have came from anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
we were really
Yeah.
dirty. We hadn't showered in.
That's what I was getting ready to
A
say.
long
Sanitary
time.
conditions are getting.
I had been wearing the same shorts for I
Whoa.
think 2 weeks solid.
Man.
It was really insane.
Nice.
Anyways,
And this is just like.
What? Yeah, what
Partly
country
into
is
it.
this in?
this was Italy.
Italy. So
we had hitchhiked all the way from Germany down to
Spain-
Italy
hold
in
on.
one shot. Just
Spain, France, and then you said you went to Germany.
Spain, France, Switzerland, Germany, back to Switzerland, Italy.
Okay, so what happened? We skipped Germany. What happened in Germany? I hear they got a pretty good economy and they got their shit together pretty well. In
I
Germany.
love Germany. Everybody speaks English. Every single person in the whole
They have a big.
country speaks.
They have a lot of
perfect English.
factory jobs and blue collar jobs, and they get paid to train people to be plumbers, to be carpenter. You know, what I mean, they really encourage
They
that.
they're very, very friendly. They're very hardworking compared to a lot of other European countries, and like I said, best English speakers out of all of them, I think. I stayed with a German guy there. If you've ever heard of couch surfing before, which for listeners who don't know, or if you don't know, it's an online community where you can find people who will let you stay at their house for free.
Sweet.
And it's all referenced, so once you stay with somebody, they'll put a thing on
Perfect plot line for a movie.
Like you're not going to hurt somebody, or
Right.
they were a good host.
They put a reference on there. You can't delete or change your reference. So
Yeah.
if you're like a creep to
a
a girl that you
dirtbag.
stay
They're going to
with-
find out.
and you'll see that on there very rarely. Usually most of the people that do it are really chill.
I got
What's it
there. This
called?
guy was trying to cut
Couch
out my
surfing.
liver.
Couch surfing.
Couchsurfing.org.
I bet you could probably use Craigslist, even though that's a
I
little
would never
shadier.
use Craigslist.
What?
The beautiful thing about couchsurfing is it's peer reviewed. So whenever
Yeah.
you stay with somebody, you get reviewed. If you go in there with no reviews, you're going to have a hard time.
This guy's cool. He brought a
Finding
guitar and played some music for us. Would you like if somebody was like, "Hey, you got to play a couple tunes"?
Man, after the hitchhiking thing,
Yeah.
I am like super trusting of people now.
Yeah.
Like I would let people stay at my house with less references than I would have before.
Yeah.
Because we just went through some crazy. We hitchhiked with a drug dealer in Switzerland on
Yeah.
accident, and he let us like stay in his house. I mean, with the dude just
On accident.
This is the first time we ever went hitchhiking, man. Like we're just like we're gonna give this a shot. First dude that picks us up is this big time drug dealer, and we didn't know. You know, he just picked us up. He couldn't barely speak a word.
How
of
old was
English.
he?
Probably in his
40s?
late 20s,
20s. Oh, okay.
early
Wow, young
30s.
dude.
He was a
Okay.
young guy,
Yeah.
but he's from the Dominican Republic. I could gather things from him like through. I call them.
Hold on.
traveler
He was in
charades.
Switzerland, but he's
Yeah.
from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude spoke French, Spanish,
Yeah, because
Italian, and German.
well,
no
Haiti's on
English.
the Dominican Republic too.
Wow.
Yeah.
No
So
English.
it's all charades, and yeah, he's like he's there's perfect language barrier. You douche. I'm like, what the fuck did you say, dude?
You
Like,
douche?
You douche. You douche. And he's holding his hand. I'm like, oh, shower.
Shower, yeah.
He's like, you douche. I'm like, yeah, I would love to take a shower. And he's like,
A douche kit.
I make euro. You come to my house and you shower. You know, I feed you and everything. And I'm like, shit, yeah, I'll pay for that. It had been
I make
days since
euro?
we had, you know, a shower or anything. I'm like, okay, game on. And we start going to his house, whatever. I'm like, how much money do you want? And he's like, huh? I'm like, how much euro? You know, he's like, no, I do for you. And I'm like, man, I could have sworn he just said, you know, I make
euro.
money.
If I
Then we
make
get to
some
his
money, you
house
can take
and
a shower.
Next thing I know, there's bags of shit going to dudes, money coming back. I'm like, oh, he had
Okay.
to make money. He's selling some drugs. Okay. All right, well, he's just doing, you know, whatever. And then we get in his house, and there's a lot of customers coming and going. There's nothing in the house, you know, like there's giant, like I said before, I'm always support marijuana, whatever, but there's gigantic, just bags and bags of clippings.
What's that
in
called?
there.
Like a trap house or something?
Something,
Like,
yeah.
It's
And
your.
the guy's trying to get us to go out and drink with him and his buddies, and we're like, man, we're tired, you know, we don't want to. And basically, he's like, well, you stay here, sleep in my bed, and I'll come back tomorrow. And we're like, dude, you just met us like 3 hours ago, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm explaining this, but really, in reality, it happened through charades because he could barely speak a word of
Yeah.
English, like. So he can barely even communicate with us. So he obviously hasn't learned anything about us. Hands us the key to his house 3 hours after meeting us. 3 bearded, dirty-looking dudes, you know, on the side of the road.
Yeah. Smelly,
Takes off.
stinky.
And goes and leaves us for the night. And then, like, we
Wakes
were
you
so...
up with pancakes in the morning. You like
Well,
pancakes?
we're, like, on a high of, you know, like, we just got a shower. We got a
Yeah.
real
Oh,
meal,
that would
you
have
know?
felt amazing.
Oh, we're feeling awesome, you know. And the next day, we wake up and we're sitting out there, smoking a morning cigarette. I smoked at that time. And then that's it. It, like, started dawning on all of us. We're like,
Oh, this guy's
man, you know, something's sketchy here. Like, I don't think he even really lives here because it's real, like, bare. There's not much furniture. Like, all those people were coming and going last night. And, like, eventually, like, we came to the conclusion, like, we need to get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Before the cops show up.
to be honest, like, I was worried that the dude wasn't what he said.
Yeah.
Like, that he was tricking us somehow into, like, stealing all of our stuff or
taking
like
the
that.
blame for something.
Yeah, that was my.
Yeah.
I was like, what if this place gets busted right now?
Yeah.
The cops are never, ever going to believe that we were just hitchhikers and this dude left us in his house. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even believe it right now,
Yeah.
and it's happening to me.
Yeah, American.
And so we're like, all right, we got to go. We pack up all our stuff, you know. And he was supposed to be back at like 10 o'clock in the morning. This is like 11. He still wasn't there. Pack up all our stuff, and we realized that we left our camping stove, which is an expensive like
Yeah.
backpacking stove.
What is it?
all
I'm
of our
familiar.
food, an Optimus Crux Light.
Very nice.
And all of our fuel, which we had a hard time finding fuel in Europe, so we can't leave. And we're like, damn. And we're waiting, the guy's not coming back. It's not till like 1 or 2 that finally comes back.
You
he's
left the
all
key in the apartment.
relaxed, you know, whatever. But we had to stay there till he came back then. Because
Oh,
we
his-
couldn't leave that stove. That was
Where
like,
was it at?
in his car, which he said he
Oh.
had borrowed from a friend. That's important.
Yeah.
He had said he had borrowed the car from a friend, whatever.
Yeah.
So he finally comes back the next day. We're like, all right, you know, and we're like, hey, can you take us back to the highway so we can keep it? Yes, and he tells us he wants to take us to lunch first. We're like, whatever, dude. Yeah, come on. So we go outside, completely different car than the day before.
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
borrowed. I
where's-
borrowed this one from another
Yeah,
friend.
I was like, where's the car from yesterday? He's like, from friend. I'm like, but this car, different friend.
Different
I'm like,
friend. Yeah.
But we had a bag in there with
like,
our
"I got it."
food and our stove and stuff because it's gone. No problem. I'm like, no, big problem, dude. What do you mean it's gone? It's gone. I'm like, you borrowed your other car from a friend. Like, can't you go get it? No, it's gone. It's gone. I buy you new. No problem. I'm like, oh my god, you're never gonna find like it's in this little town,
Yeah.
you know. I'm like, you're never gonna find a backpacking stove here and whatever. And we went to go look for a stove, which really consisted of him just making all kinds of crazy stops. He stopped with these two German dudes in a Maserati. I mean, in suits, man, sunglasses, and they're all like, he runs out of the car. I'll be right back. No problem. Jumps over to their car, and I see them like, you know, pointing to us and everything. I'm like, oh my
Man,
god,
we're about to
you
get
know,
shot.
Freaking out. Comes out with these two gigantic grocery bags packed full of pot. Throws them in the back seat. We take off. We're making all these stops, and I'm like, I'm freaking out,
Oh
dude.
my
And
God.
I had a SIM card in my phone at that time, so I sent a message to my buddy back home, like, listen, dude, like, here's this situation. We're really in a sketchy deal right now.
If
Like,
I die.
this dude's name is blank, because I won't. know
Yeah,
his
I got
name
you.
Because I'm actually ended up being friends with the guy on Facebook. Not to spoil the end of the story here, but I was freaked out. Stuff was gonna happen. Long story short, he takes us. He buys us beer. He buys us lunch, whatever. Takes us to this park where we can spend the night. He's trying to give us money. Like, I give you €1. We're like, no, dude, no. You've done way more than enough. Like, I'll pick you up tomorrow. I'll take you farther. We're like, no. And he's like, all right, see you. We snapped a picture with the guy, and he left. And we're like, holy shit, that dude
That
was
just
seriously
happened?
just like.
You
he
should have
was
took
just
that
nice,
money
like-
to replace your equipment, man. He was
Oh,
probably
I forgot that part of the story.
he
Yeah.
probably felt bad.
He went back and got it. During our stops, we stopped at a house. He runs in with the 2 big bags full of pot.
Nice.
Comes back out with our bag.
Hey, I got
of
it.
food,
Oh, hell
minus
yeah.
2 bananas. Whoever had them
Oh,
ate 2
they ate
bananas.
two
We
bananas.
assume it might have had something to do with the weed. I don't know.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them.
But we
Making the
didn't
healthy
care. We were
choice.
so relieved to
Like,
have it
ooh,
back.
bananas. Snap.
But and so from there, that was the first hitchhiking experience we had. Was that?
Your first is your
Wow.
greatest. You'll
Dude,
never
we had
find another
crazy.
hitchhiking story better than that.
You should go hitchhiking. We hitchhiked out of Germany and met a dude that was the booking agent for 50 Cent, Lil Kim, Snoop Dogg, all this stuff. Picked us up in a little.
About to be a European tour?
He runs European tours. Yeah, that's what he
Nice.
does. I didn't even. He does all hip hop booking, and I didn't even
Yeah.
attempt to pitch my piddly little acoustic act.
You're going to
know?
open up for like Snoop and
Oh
Dre.
my
Like
God.
that would.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I'm
You
like.
might take some booze. I don't know.
That
You maybe
guy,
kill it though.
he picked us up, and whenever somebody says something like that, you're obviously like, okay, dude, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And like I saw his business
Sure
card
you
sitting
are.
there, and I'm looking up on my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna look this motherfucker up and see whatever. Boom, there he is. There's his picture with like 50
Everybody.
Cent,
He
like,
just said-
everybody. It's like European tour booking, blah blah blah, and everything. And he had when we got with the guy, he had just left the police station. He just had to go down because a club manager had booked a show with him for Akon, and the guy like heard some rumor on the internet that
Yeah.
he wasn't coming, and so he canceled the show and he wanted his deposit, €100,000 deposit back, and before he even got a chance to give it to him, the guy tried to kidnap him.
What?
It's this Armenian dude. He showed up with a bunch of guys and tried to put him in a trunk and take him. And
Nice.
luckily, he had actually it was
gun?
an American soldier that was stationed on one of the bases there in Germany. Was friends with him. It happened to be with him, a real huge dude, and he kind of saved him. So he had to go to the police station, whatever. And whenever we're in the car, he's on the phone with the guy, like, "Yeah, you motherfucker, you want to play with that? I was going to give you your €50,000 back. Fuck you, man. You get it from my lawyer now, motherfucker." Like, we're like, damn. And
Is everything okay?
yeah, and he's, oh, dude, it was nuts. And he had, he's like, yeah, I was like, damn, €100,000, and I'm thinking for Akon, really? You know, like he's not that big of a deal anymore, you know.
Maybe
Like,
over there though.
and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, they pay 100,000, 50,000 down, and then another 100,000 on rider stuff, which is like you hear of like, I want red and yellow Skittles and blah blah blah. I'm
Yeah.
like, is that like really true? And he's like, here, man. He handed me his Akon's contract or whatever, and I'm reading through it. Dude, it's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Man. Oh my god. 1 case of Fiji water chilled. 1 case of Fiji water room temperature. 1 bottle of Cristal for Akon's dressing room. 1 bottle of Cristal for a band's dressing room. This many KFC value menu. This many Domino's pizzas. This,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Super specific. 1 black coffee table with glass top. 1 black couch. I'm like, oh my god, man! Like, he's
How about just a coffee table, man?
yeah? He's like, yeah, man. I used to work for Mariah Carey.
The
and
worst.
Oh,
The worst, he said, dude. He said she had it in her rider. Every single show she played, they had to have an all-white dressing room with all-white furniture and 3 white puppies.
oh my
I'm like,
God.
3 white puppies. Like, 3 white puppies, man. I'm like, is it a guy's job? He's like, yeah, some poor motherfucker has to go and get
find
3 white
three
puppies,
white puppies.
at every show she plays.
I need to borrow these for the day.
Yeah,
like,
where
no,
do
you
you
can't
go?
do that.
Like, those are the same puppies I had last week. Get new ones.
These are not puppies anymore. What are these? A year and a
They're
half?
not pooping white. They're pooping brown. This isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 new white puppies.
I want them to poop bird poop.
Jeez.
But yeah, that was insane.
That
Those
is
are used
ridiculous.
puppies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so
Okay. Well, back
now
to
we've left Germany, gone through Switzerland, and we're getting back into Italy. Correct?
yeah. Then we ended up after that was honestly terrible, man. We left Germany and it was. I can't remember exactly how many days, but I want to say it was close to a week and a half or 2 weeks of solid hitchhiking, which was sleeping in. We slept in a drainage ditch one night, like.
So
under
were you?
bridges, like, oh.
You're trying to get. By now, are you still trying to continue the journey, or are you trying to get back home?
That was the beginning of the journey.
Right. So you're gonna still do
Here's
it.
what we came up to. Most
Are
of
you
the
out
way-
of money yet?
No, but we are
Close?
We're realizing at that point that we had all this time. We're determined to make it through the whole time, right? So we realize like there's no possible way that we can spend what we've been spending and still make it. Like I wanted to get Wi-Fi so I could try to make money with my computer. This guy, the Aaron that I was with, was so crazy about money that he wouldn't meet me anywhere in the middle. He was so obsessed with it that we couldn't eat when we wanted to, and we could never stay anywhere. So I never had Wi-Fi to work on the computer, and I was always too exhausted from
Couldn't you-
sleeping random places to try to play music for money.
Maybe this
So it was like
is
a
just,
catch-22.
Maybe this is just American culture, but is there Wi-Fi anywhere over there?
Europe, man, I'm telling you. When I say everything's expensive, everything costs money. We have every
McDonald's doesn't?
every McDonald's around the world. It's free Wi-Fi, but in Europe, you have to have a cell phone for them to send a text code to get on it. And a lot of the times, I didn't have a SIM card where I was at, so
Wow.
I couldn't use it. And then you get on it, and it's like a half hour or an hour. Is all
Maybe you could.
get.
I would be like trying to ask somebody, like, "Hey, man,
Starbucks. Shout out to Starbucks. They're the only place that I've found everywhere
pretty much just
in the
free
world.
sign up.
100% free Wi-Fi. They don't even make you buy anything. Like if you go in there and are like,
you
"Yeah,
just
I
want
don't
to
have
sit.
any money,"
Like,
they're
I
like,
just want some free
"Have
Wi-Fi."
at it, dude. They're really cool."
That's awesome.
Well, partway through this hitchhiking, we realized I proposed the idea that we just leave. We had planned 2 months in Europe. This was about 3 or 4 weeks into that. I proposed that we leave Europe early to go to our next location, which was Thailand, because Thailand is insanely cheap cost of living. $500,
Yeah,
$600 a month,
I've
you
heard
live
that.
like a king, you know.
Nice.
Like,
Thailand,
You're good.
huh?
$3 to $5 a night for a hotel room.
I've heard that
Kinda.
Thailand does 75% of their trading with America. We buy like 75% of the goods that they produce and sell.
I didn't see any of those goods
Wow.
there, unless it's all eggs. Saw a ton of eggs.
Eggs?
Didn't
I
see
like
a
eggs,
single
man.
ounce of cheese the whole time I was there.
No cows, huh?
I don't know. A lot of
Yeah,
beef, but I don't know. We'll get to Thailand in a second.
Okay, yeah.
so
it's all
I
right.
proposed this idea. Everybody agreed. Everybody was immediately on board that we leave early because it was just miserable. We weren't enjoying Europe because we were so poor. So the plan was to try to make it to Italy as fast as possible to change our plane flight and hightail it out of there. So that's why we were on such a hurry to do all that. Long story short, while I was stranded under that bridge, puking and shitting my guts out, we learned that we were not going to be able to take the plane flight. So we're stuck in Italy another month, which led to us. I'll try to speed this up because I know we're limited on time.
Nah, man.
No, we're
listen.
not limited.
It ain't that kind of show, man. We got as long as time as you got, honestly. I mean,
Well, I'll try not to stay on too many details anyway. So we make it to Rome, and we find this nature preserve outside of Rome that we end up living in for almost a month. We just set up camp in the middle
Like
of
a
this
national
place.
park almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like a national park. And we just walked into it and
Yep.
kind of illegally set up shop there. And
What time of year was it that you were doing this?
this was during a record heat wave in Italy.
Oh my god.
The hottest it's ever been
hate
in,
camping
in
when it's
recorded
hot.
history of
I hate
Italy.
camping when it's hot, man. It's so much better to camp when it's cool, no bugs. You can always put on your jacket and snuggle in your tent. But when it's hot,
Dude.
you can lay there naked in your tent, and that's all you can
Now,
do.
we didn't have a tent. We had hammocks is what we used to sleep in
Ooh,
where it was
gosh.
available. They were great for that. Hammocks
I
keep
can't
it's
sleep in a hammock,
cool
dude.
air comes up underneath
know.
of them. Stay
Listen.
cool. Both of the other guys, Corey and Aaron, they didn't like the hammock. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm a little guy. It didn't like. Mess with
I
my
have
back.
tried on 3 separate occasions with advancing degrees in hammocks. I can't sleep in it. I love to sit in a hammock in my backyard.
Mhm.
I have to be straight when I sleep at night because I sleep on my stomach.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on your stomach in a hammock. It's
You
impossible.
can if you stretch it really tight. But
Oh,
then,
no.
Oh,
I've
your
tried
back's getting
everything.
broken.
But then it's like squeezing you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a pressure chamber. So yeah, it's
I got a nice little camp pad, and that's what I sleep on. I can sleep on that thing anywhere. It reflects it's got like the reflective layer
Yeah.
through it, so it
Yeah.
reflects your heat back up. I took it up to Mount Whitney. It's beautiful.
that's what if I'm in a mountainous area, which we found out later in New Zealand that the hammocks, if you're anywhere cold, no
It's
bueno,
no good.
you're
Yep.
screwed. I almost died in the mountains in New Zealand from hypothermia.
Not to be
Um,
laughing at your plight, but man,
I laugh at it too, but because of that. But anyways, so we're stuck there for a month. This is where me and Aaron are still not getting along at all at this point. We argue about money all the time.
that's tough, especially when you're with someone. So
Every
like
day,
you're
you know.
dependent. You're arguing, but you're dependent. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's a
It was bad. Yeah, he was just a total. Turned out he was religious. Neither me and Corey are, and so that affected a lot of
decisions.
yeah, and how he had lived his life so far. He had never been to a concert. He hadn't really dated much.
Yeah.
In terms of women and stuff.
Do you
like
think
that.
it was
So-
more him or his religion? Because I'm a Christian
it's-
too, and I would
it's,
I would love all this stuff you're talking about. Like if you had me
It's,
on that trip,
his parents, man, like,
Yeah.
really sheltered him.
sheltered.
because
there
they're
you
really
go.
extreme Catholics.
He's scared to live, man.
Yes, and
That's
me and
not the
Corey
way
were
it's
always
supposed
on
to
him,
be.
you know, like trying to convince him, you know, like
You can't be scared to live.
yeah, and that he was more concerned about having money sitting in a box at home than he was about actually enjoying
Going out and doing
the trip.
something.
And you know,
yeah.
I'm like, why'd you even come, dude? Like, if you just want to sit here. But anyways, in that nature preserve in Italy, me and Corey started busking, which is street performing
Mhm.
every day.
It's
And we
slang
played
for
at
it.
a couple of restaurants and stuff, and we really worked our asses off. He refused to get a job. He looked for like one day, and then he gave up. And so we're taking 2 hours worth of buses every day to play for 4 or 5 hours in this record heat wave, just to make
Because you're
$20,
staying in the nature.
$30.
You're staying in the nature preserve still, right?
right.
And you're just bussing into the
We
community.
walk out to the highway, catch a bus,
to
because
the
we found
town.
out they weren't checking buses. You could just hop on. They never checked for fare or anything.
Oh wow.
So yeah, our goal during that month was to break even. We didn't want to spend any more money. So if we made enough playing music to pay for our food,
It
then
was
we'd
good.
be cool. And we ended up making almost $600 during that 3
Nice.
weeks.
That's
And
Right
we
on.
had our
200
budget,
bucks a
our
week.
spending budget. We had it down to. This is my claim to fame for other travel bloggers and budget travelers. Is I had a budget of 3 people down to $12 a day.
rice and beans, huh? I'm trying to tell you, that's where
In
it's at.
Italy, pasta, man.
Pasta, yeah.
Never got tired of pasta. Every night, it was like the highlight of my day, going back to camp and cooking up some pasta.
Would you ever just ask for food? Like if someone had food and was like, "I can give you food,
Well,
but not money."
Dude, Europe is kind of weird when it comes to busking.
Yeah.
And I try not to group Europe as a whole, but
Yeah.
Italy and France were weird in that if we had a sign up that said, like, we're poor, traveling, need money, wouldn't get shit.
No.
If we kind of dressed ourselves up a little bit
professionally.
and looked more like we didn't really need it, we'd get more tips. I don't really understand it personally.
Well, maybe they
I
see you
think
more as
it
professional.
was more of an artistic thing to them
Yeah.
if you're doing it just
Okay.
to do it. which as you can imagine, over the course of the month, I mean, we had busking down to like a
Science,
perfection. A science. Yeah, perfection isn't the right
Perfect
word.
time to be.
Science. Yeah, perfect times. We knew locations. We knew if you see a kid, game over. Look at the kid and smile. As soon as the kid sees you, the parents are giving him money to come put it. You know, it's a big deal. You know, he gets to put money in the thing.
Yeah.
Get the camera, honey.
Yeah.
Get your
Soon as you
camera
see
out.
kids,
They're
you're
gonna
like,
help the
hey,
poor Americans.
Kid, smile.
Jing-a-lang, jing-a-lang.
Hey, little fella.
Yeah. So you were a bard. That's what a bard does.
What's a bard?
Yeah.
You ever done any like role playing or Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that? A bard's like a character you can be that plays music and he charms people and he's
okay.
he's slick and
I don't know
sly
if I'd be
and
much of a charmer.
he looks the ladies in the eyes and he like
Now,
seduces
we
them.
had a couple of times that chicks were stopping, you know, and they'd be talking to us, you know, where are you from and everything. And I learned a little bit of Italian at that point.
A jungalier.
So I'm trying
also
my
does
best,
that.
you know.
He learned it real quick
I
when they
did
started
learn-
coming up
I
talking
did learn
to
it real
him.
quick, yeah.
Muy bonito. Did you notice this? French, Spanish, and Italian are all rooted in
Yeah,
Latin,
they're
so
sister
they're
languages.
similar.
Yeah.
You may hear similar words that don't always mean the same
And
thing.
some
but-
are the same, exactly.
Yeah,
Verde,
exactly.
green in Spanish or Italian.
Yeah.
A lot of it's really similar. But yeah, with the ladies, it was always stopped abruptly short when they would say, "Where are you guys staying?"
The
Well,
woods.
you know, if you go down the highway here and the nature preserve there where the prostitutes sit out by the highway, yeah, we're right back in there in some hammocks.
We are currently
there were
homeless.
prostitutes that sat out by the highway on the entrance to this nature preserve, and we
Yeah.
became friends with them. We'd walk out. It was really funny, you know. We'd come back from work, as we called it. How was your day? It's very slow, not many customers. How about you? Like, that's pretty good tips today. Like, "Oh, okay."
We did well.
And we
That's
actually
great.
they sat in lawn chairs, and we started stealing their lawn chairs. We didn't have anywhere to sit in the woods. We felt really bad, so we'd wait until nightfall, you know, and then we'd get up there
Yeah.
and steal their lawn chairs. Because they're out in the day. They only did
Yeah.
one a day. And then they'd come the next day, they'd bring another lawn chair, they'd have another. Until we had 3 of them, one for each of us. And then we're like, okay. When we went to leave, we're like, should we bring these chairs back? And Corey's like, I bet we could at least trade these chairs at least to see a pair of tits or something, you know.
Hold him for ransom. We got your chairs. Let's see some tits.
So I noticed that you use chairs.
yeah.
We have your
Notice you
chairs.
like-
They had to have known it was us.
Yeah,
taking-
of course.
We're walking out in the woods every day.
We're missing 3 chairs. There's 3 dudes staying
Man,
in the woods.
they were so cool though. I don't know. We talked to them every day. They were funny.
Did you carry a tarp with you? I'm sorry,
We
I'm
had
asking
one.
hiking questions too because I'm.
We had one rain fly, and it did rain a couple days in that nature preserve, and we were all huddled underneath it.
How big was it?
Not
10 by
big.
10?
It's
No?
10 by 12.
10 by 12. That's all right. I mean, that'll keep you dry, man.
But
when
3
you need
people with all of our
It.
equipment
Yeah, I
under
got you.
one.
I know
It
you.
was
I know
pretty-
what you're saying, but you know.
It was a pretty close call. You asked earlier about what all we were carrying, and I said that's where we really screwed ourselves. What I meant by that was we wanted to. I had everything that I needed to run a travel and music website, which included that was before I had this computer, a very heavy computer. Pro Tools, which you're probably familiar with a lot of the audio equipment I'll talk about. A Pro Tools interface, an Inbox, which is
Yeah, because I'm a pro. musician.
Negative.
you're running
We are
audio
totally
equipment.
not pros at anything. I'm glad that we give that a appearance, though.
Well, an audio interface.
So
like
what
a
were
little
you?
mixer,
What were your
recording mixer,
skills on the laptop?
recording microphones, everything, and all the stuff for camping. My pack weighed 65 pounds, not counting the guitar I was carrying. I had the heaviest pack out of
Yeah.
everybody. Corey's started out at 55, and Aaron started out at 45.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's heavy.
My
packs.
pack came up to 70 pounds in New Zealand eventually.
Yeah, that's way too heavy. I don't like to carry more than 50-pound pack.
That's
You
a
know what I
good
mean?
rule of thumb too. Yeah.
Just for my size. Now, different size, but most people I think could handle a 40 to 50-pound pack and put in miles and miles and miles.
It ended
and
up,
miles
yeah.
and miles.
Early on, I was in rough shape. I was.
What were you going to
crybaby
do
about
with
it.
your computer, though? What kind of work were you going to do for people to make money?
Well, it first started out, I started a travel website, and I thought, oh, I'll get advertisers and sponsors for it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much about the travel blogging community per se at that time, so I was a little naive
Yeah,
on how long it would take for that to happen and how to make it happen.
yeah.
In the course of that, I got a lot better. I had always done a little bit of graphic design, but I had vastly improved from hours and hours of designing a website. I don't want to say skill, or I guess it would be skill of doing that. So eventually I realized in the short term I could make much more money doing graphic design work than I could
Yeah.
waiting to get enough viewers to try to make affiliate sales on a
Yeah.
website. So what I did was I went on to a few of the travel blogger groups that I'm on Facebook, each with a few thousand members, and just posted, hey, if anybody needs graphic design work done, get a hold of me. I'll send you my portfolio or whatever. And boom, I just started seeing all this graphic design work come in. So that's what I started doing to make money once
What
we
is
left.
graphic design exactly?
Logos, making...
For websites and things?
Yeah, for other travel websites.
Or logos.
Banners.
Our
everything.
logo right there, our fan up in Canada made that for us. So
Nice.
would that be kind of like graphic
Yeah,
design?
that's something like that
Okay.
I would have been doing for people,
Alright.
yeah. Or website headers, flyers, anything.
Anything.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
anything I could get my hands on to do. And I was doing it at a cheap rate to get more work.
Yeah.
Because by the time I was
Well,
doing
the money
that,
was more valuable
it
to
was
you.
exactly.
Yeah.
We were in Thailand. $25 is, a few nights with a roof over our heads. So.
Wow, really? Nice.
So we'll skip forward a little bit now. The
Well,
nature.
where did you go after you left Italy?
That's what I'm getting to. Yeah.
Okay.
So we stayed in the nature preserve. We saved up a little bit of money by doing all that.
Was
and
a
then we-
jungleer for a while on the corner making money, man. That's
Yeah,
an
dude,
honest
hey.
living, though. That is honestly, that's
my whole experience in Europe humbled the shit out of me, dude.
Yeah.
Like the nice things that people did for us and trusted us, and here's one that'll shock you. We got picked up by exponentially more women than we did men hitchhiking.
wow.
We got
that is
picked
weird.
up by I want to say it was 9 different females and 3 males,
Wow.
and a lot of them
Wow.
were like attractive younger girls.
Whoa.
Which, like, one of us was a 19-year-old girl. She was beautiful in Switzerland. And, it was funny. We had just walked down this highway, and we're sitting there all covered in sweat, worn out from walking in the sun, for however many miles. And we had a little sign out. We always had a sign of what town we were trying to make it to. But we hadn't even started trying to hitchhike yet. We were just leaning against this wall and filled up our water bottles from the bathroom because that's how gross we were. And
Water's water.
Corey's like,
Surviving.
wait till you see this girl comes out and gets into this Fiat. Was she hot? She's like, oh, she's smoking hot, man.
Yeah.
Comes out, I'm like, damn. She walks right over to us and she's like, hello. And we're like
Dreamweaver,
looking at her. She's like,
I believe.
you need a ride? And we're like, we all kind of stare at her for a minute. We're like staring at each
Yeah.
other, like it's not clicking. She's like, do you need a ride? Because I can give you a ride. And we're like, yeah, we could totally use a ride. Yeah. She's like, if you can fit in my car, because like it's a little tiny
Yeah.
Fiat.
Oh, we're fit.
Yeah,
we're gonna fit.
I had all the stuff on, like all my stuff piled out in the air, and had to shut my door because I couldn't even reach over to get.
She was probably a transvestite. Or
Oh man, she was so hot.
She was
And
the
whole time-
prettiest
and, like,
transvestite
and I asked her, I'm
I've ever
like,
seen.
And I'm thinking, like, does her parents know that she's picking up like these 3 bearded?
Random people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
Sketchy
3
looking
dirtbags
dudes,
on the
yeah.
side of the road.
That
like,
girl came and she bought us almost $100 dinner
what?
at this and she's like, can I give you money? And we're like, no. Like, no, we
She
can't.
was
take your money.
rich.
She had a good job. She was telling us about she did some kind of software development stuff. And she's like, well, at least let me buy you food and at the gas station, at the rest stop. And we're like, okay.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
gas station
Fair
food,
enough.
And we go to this place and it's like classy. Next thing you know, like we're behind her and they're like, that's 80 francs, which is close to $100. And we're like, damn. And that wasn't, she didn't even get anything for herself.
Well, that was very nice of her, man.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
You do meet a lot of nice people.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. And I changed my whole perspective. And getting back into the book, you can tell at the beginning, a lot. I'm a red-blooded American male.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to get laid, I want to whatever. And as time went on, it turned into, it changed me as a person, man. I wasn't about
Good.
partying as much anymore. I viewed all of humanity different and
Yeah.
everything.
Look for you. You're growing up, learning
It's-
things about
It's
stuff,
like the school of hard knocks, I guess, man. I
feeling
don't know.
ways about things.
You realize shit about the world. It's not just a big party. There's so much more to it out
Yeah.
there, to actually live. Still like to party a lot.
You're almost obligated now to do nice things for people too. Do you
Absolutely,
feel kind of like
dude.
that? Like you've
Absolutely.
showed so much,
Yeah.
not charity, but
You gotta
just
pay it forward.
goodwill. You know what I mean? That you have to trail kindness. You know what I mean? That's what
Absolutely.
it's called, trail kindness.
If I see, to this day, if I see a person playing music anywhere,
Yeah.
I always tip them if they're good or whatever.
yeah.
Because you never know whenever you see that guy there. People saw us and didn't know that we were relying on like
You really needed
eating
that
tonight.
dollar, man.
Yeah, like
You really,
like,
I
oh,
really
man,
need that
like,
dollar. That dollar
it
ain't
was
just
a big deal.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
are we
awesome.
gonna make enough money to get a bus back home? Stuff like that.
So what happened after you moved out of the woods in Italy?
So we flew to Thailand. We were in Bangkok for way too long. What happened is we got there and it was so cheap that we gorged ourselves on comforts.
Yeah.
We're going buying food every night.
Heck yeah.
Nice giant plate of food is $1.
Oh yeah.
Hotel rooms $3 a night.
You didn't want to leave that shit.
Cigarettes, pack of Marlboro is $1.
Yeah, why would you want to leave that? That is like
Well, it's like that all over Asia, but we had just been, living how we had been. That when we first had a bed, we got really lazy.
Felt like kings.
Yeah, we felt like kings. We just didn't want to do it. We lost
Wow.
all drive. We were just sitting there relaxing, for forever. But during this time, Corey, I was really close with Corey. He's still one of my best friends to this day. Me and him were the same people. Aaron was not. He was totally different from either of us. Corey, out of the blue, one night, I'm leaving. I'm going home tomorrow. His girlfriend had cheated on him, and he decided he wanted to go home and try to work it out with her
girlfriend, not wife.
girlfriend.
How long?
Over a year. Now, see, me and him had
I
different.
have to
and
kind of let that go and just be like, hey, fare thee well.
See, that was what I told him. He asked us for advice. He already had his mind made up, but he still
Yeah.
asked us for advice, and that was mine to him. I had been in the identical situation to him with this girl that kind of sparked me to leave and go do all this. Same situation. 2 kids, 1 and 3 years old. Dad wasn't in the picture. We had stepped in and were being dads.
Yeah.
Whatever. Girl cheated on us. The girl cheated on me the first time I tried to make it work with her,
Yeah.
and she cheated on me again, and that's whenever all the stuff
Okay,
happened.
Obviously, it's not going to work.
She cheated on him this first time, and that my advice to him was, I've been there, and the old saying I think is true: once a cheater, always a cheater. Like, just move on.
Yeah.
Man.
Not always, but it's a good idea. I mean, that gives you a good setup for what they're going to do. But
It's,
sometimes people can change.
And she disrespected him a lot, man.
Yeah.
Like she hung out with other
that
guys
ain't
and stuff.
cool.
And to me, that's just a sign that she wasn't going to be changing anytime soon, But at the same time, people try to tell me that whenever I had been in his shoes and I didn't listen to any of them.
Yep.
That kind of stuff you got to
The
figure
heart,
it out.
your heart
on
is
your
not
own.
like your brain. It doesn't.
Right.
It
You
doesn't
gotta
see the
figure it
same
out
logic,
Yourself, yeah.
man. I know.
So
Exactly
he
how it is.
left.
Yeah.
And it's just me and this guy that I
That
had
you
not
do
been able to
not
get along
like.
with. That
Oh.
I've just been.
He
we've been
left from
screaming at each
Thailand
other.
just straight home.
Straight home the next day, man.
Wow.
It was just like boom. It was just a
Dang.
shell shock, We're just like,
Yeah.
oh my god. I'm like, now it's me and him.
The
And
Yeah,
he's not a
yeah.
musician though, is he? He's not
No,
helping
not at all.
you.
He hadn't done anything, and I'm slaving my ass off on the computer playing music. He is laying around watching movies on his laptop. It didn't really bother me, because honestly, when I'm traveling, money to me means food and enjoyment. It doesn't. I don't care if I come home with money.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Just enough to get you through.
On my trips out west, I've paid for other people to go with me, and I've never asked them to pay me back or anything, because when it comes to travel, I have a whole different outlook on money. It's just all about the experience, man.
Yeah.
Money's temporary, memories are forever.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it. So I never, whatever. He always, I wish we would have brought the same amount of money, and me and him, that would just spark an argument every time. So we go through Thailand, through Malaysia, where I'm working on the computer. He's not doing anything as far as that goes. And then we finally make it to Australia. We had it really good in Asia, man, because it was so cheap. Like, Europe was behind us, none of like the no hitchhiking, which I loved hitchhiking, but we didn't have to do it anymore. We could afford transportation. We had a roof over our heads every single night that we were in Asia. We ate good whole time. Cigarettes, whatever, buying. That was the other thing in Italy. We had been trying to quit smoking so many times we decided to quit buying tobacco, and we had resorted to picking up cigarette butts off the ground at the bus station.
Oh shit.
And-
Trailer Park Boys.
and rolling them into papers,
Yep.
we weren't smoking off the same filters, but it was equally gross.
Trailer Park Boys. That's exactly what they do.
So we're in Asia, and we got spoiled, just
Yeah.
living the dream there. And we get to Australia. We did couch surfing there. So we stayed with some random people. We ended up going on a road trip with this British couple, and ended up out in the outback with a friend of mine that went to school here in Chillicothe as a foreign exchange student.
Mhm.
He's a native of Australia.
Oh wow.
We didn't think
Was
we
that
were gonna.
planned?
Well, that's we didn't think. Originally, we had planned 3 months in Australia, and we were going to stay with him in Perth, which is the western half of Australia. Are you very familiar with Australia?
Yeah.
Like the geography of it?
I know there's 2 major cities, and that's it.
Well, you got the east, which is really populated
Yeah.
for Australia. Sydney, Melbourne, everything. That's where everybody goes. You got WA, which is West Australia. There's fucking nothing but outback. And then there's Perth, and that's it. There's like a few little cities, but,
Yeah.
not much.
They had to
He
invent
lived-
a new color for Australia because it got so hot in the middle of Australia. Did you guys
Are you
know
serious?
that? Yeah. Like a dark purple because it was like 138 degrees
Oh, I
in
believe it.
central Australia.
Oh, it gets hot. Well, we came there. That's funny how unprepared we were on everything. We were so naive. We had not looked up the weather or anything in there in New Zealand, and I had a graphic design client that lived in New Zealand, and I messaged her, was like, "Hey, what's some places we should check out?" Because I haven't even researched it yet. This is in Malaysia, and she sent me a few names, some places, and I Google them, and I'm looking. I'm like, "Oh, this place looks pretty. Oh my God, is that fucking snow?"
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Because I thought New Zealand was like warm all year round for some reason.
Oh,
We
man.
had gave all of our cold weather stuff to Corey when he left, like
Oh,
my
no.
sleeping bag, jackets, long pants, anything, because we thought it was gonna be tropical there on out.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God! It showed like that it was gonna be like 40 degrees when we were there.
oh,
Nice.
We had
crap.
nothing but shorts and t-shirts, So we're going around Malaysia, a country that's on the equator, like. We're looking
Trying
for
to
some
find
coats.
coats.
What the hell's a coat? What are you talking about?
What do you do
the
with it?
heaviest thing I could find was like a super light windbreaker.
You
That
put
was-
it over top
Wow.
of you? Why?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. When it's cold.
I couldn't find anything.
I don't
you know?
understand.
Yeah, they're like, why do you want this stuff? Like they couldn't. And so we're like, damn it. We're like, well, we'll get something in Australia. Australia, we know, is always warm. No, wrong again. We get to Australia, and the funny thing is, and we realize that about New Zealand. Don't even look up Australia. We just still assume like, well, Australia is still warm. We won't Google it.
Of
though,
course.
Yeah.
That
Step
won't
out of the
happen
airport
again.
like, son of a bitch. So it's cold, and we ended up getting stuff there anyways. Anyway, what I was getting back to, at Perth in the middle of nowhere, we were going to stay with my buddy. His name's Ryan. He lived in Perth. A couple, 2 or 3 weeks before we got to Australia, I sent him a message like, yo, we're going to be there in a couple weeks, man. He sends me something back. Oh, shit. I forgot to tell you. I moved out in the middle of the outback like a month ago. Like,
oh,
I'd love to host you guys, but you got to find a way to Calgary, which is like a 6-hour drive into the
Dang.
middle of the outback, or
Dude.
more. Actually, I think it's more than that. It might be like 10 hours. And we didn't have the money to take a bus. At this point, our money had dwindled down so low, even with me making money on the internet, that we were down to within like $20 or $50 of being able to make it home if we were completely budgeted. No hostels or anything through all of it. So we couldn't do it. And then we met that British couple. You want to go on a road trip with us? We're like, hell yeah, let's do it. So they drove
Were they
us.
going close to where you were going?
Well, that's how it panned out.
Nice.
They had to
Nice.
go work on a farm that was out in the outback. And we're like, hey, could you drop us off at my buddy's house there? Because we can afford a train back, just not both ways, Have just enough money to get the train back. And they're like, yeah, cool. So we went on a 2-week road trip. Then they took us around and then dropped us off in the outback with my buddy. We stayed with him for a week. He took us camping out in the outback. That was a lot of fun. Then took a train back. And we finally, the last night in Australia, we finally had to sleep outside, like on the street again. And we had made it that far, and I was so spoiled that it was like even more of a bummer that I was back to what we were doing in Europe. And then I'd sworn it off.
You've already
like,
been
no,
to first
never
class,
again.
man.
Yeah.
Now you got to go back to coach.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing this shit again. And then we flew to New Zealand. And this is where shit went. Just the last part of this trip, man, it really tested us. Like, it got really bad because we had to sleep outside a train station that last night in Australia. We only had 2 weeks in New Zealand. It was a 2-week layover. And New Zealand is 2 islands, the North Island and the
Yeah.
South Island. My friend that I talked to told us the North Island, don't waste your time, go to the South Island. So of course we were flying into the North Island, so we had already paid for tickets to fly to the South Island and then a ticket back. and we were going to hitchhike or take there's a company called Naked Bus that runs through New Zealand. It's not a gigantic orgy.
I got you.
But it's like $6 or $10 for bus fares from like the equivalent of here to Columbus and back and stuff. So we were gonna do that. So sleep outside train station. We don't get any sleep. Make this 8 or 10 hour flight to New Zealand. There's a time change that happens there. You fly over the dateline, the international dateline. So it changes days. I got something confused in my head when I did it. We flew into the North Island, and then we had a plane ticket to the South Island the next day. Well, unbeknownst to me, we get a ride to this. We had enough money to stay at a hostel for one night during our whole 2-week stay here, so we decided we were going to do it the first night, and we were going to leave a bunch of our shit there and pick it up before we hopped on the plane home, because I knew we were going to be sleeping on the street and stuff from Europe. I knew what was going to happen. I didn't want to take my computer. I didn't want to carry any of that shit. I'd given up on the blog, weeks before that, whatever. I was like, I'm just carrying the bare minimum to survive. Hammock, or stove, sleeping bag that I bought in Australia, everything. So we go to that hostel, we drop off the stuff, and we were going to stay there one night. And then at some point during the afternoon, I look at my phone, and I realize when we crossed that date line, it skipped ahead a day. That morning had been our flight, technically.
Oh, snap.
So we missed the flight, and we go back to this hostel. We were in town, Auckland, seeing the sights when we found that out. Get lost in the bus system, so it's another 2 hours before we make it back to this hostel. I call the airline from the hostel. The guy on the phone is like, I told him what happened, and everything. He's like, have you ever heard of a standby ticket? No. Well, what it is you can go, you basically sit in the airport, and if there's a spare seat, we'll throw you on it, and whatever, it's free. We're like, okay, cool. And he's like, all you need to do is just go to our ticket counter at the airport. They'll set you up. I'm like, thank you so much, dude. Like, I was freaking out, like, oh, thank God. So we go, and this is, keep in mind, we haven't slept at all since Australia, because my theory to beat jet lag is to stay up until the next night. This is, at this point, we're around 32 or 33 hours of no sleep.
Been there.
We all the shit, gather our stuff, go back to the airport, walk up to the ticket counter. I tell her what's going on. The guy told us come and get standby tickets. We don't do standby tickets. I'm like, what?
Oh, man.
And she's like, yeah, we don't do them. I'm like, the guy on the phone told me, like, you do. I'm like, no, he was incorrect. We don't do them at all. And
Call him back. I'd call him back. Like, hey, can you talk
I'd
to
never
this
get
lady?
the same rep, Like,
yeah.
I'd call another one, and if they say the same
I'm
thing, I'd be
arguing
like,
with her,
talk to them.
I'm like, and there was nothing I could do. I argued with her for a while, and like we just go out and we're just sitting on a bench outside the airport. Like we just lost like $300 ticket.
They
the two of us.
couldn't credit you or anything.
They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't even like. I was like, what if we paid like a portion of it? Like we thought we were gonna try to wire money from home, like borrow some money or something. And no, wouldn't do anything. The whole money was lost. We still had our return flight, but that was it. And so we're like, how are we going to get to the South Island? Because there was nowhere for us to do anything up on the North Island, to sleep or whatever. So we're like, all right, well, we need to go back to that hostel, whatever, and figure out what we're going to do. So I go to the payphone, and it ate my dollar, and that's when I snapped. I just lost touch. It was like 30 at that point, like 35 hours without sleep, and I fucking snapped. I was walking through the airport, and I'm like, fucking piece of shit, stupid fucking city, fucking garbage, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's like looking at me like, this dude's going to bomb this place.
TSA,
Oh my God. Like, I'm just screaming. I walk up to the counter like, I need to make a fucking phone call. Your piece of shit phone ate my money. And they're like, you can make a free phone call with those phones over there. I'm like,
stupid
over there,
American.
with those phones? And they're like, yeah, it's free. I'm like, it doesn't cost me anything. And they're like, no. I'm like, oh,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm sorry. Like, I go, pick up whatever. And long story short, we had to we took a series of buses to get down, then had to hop a ferry over to the South Island. But that required us, we were sleeping in parks, and we slept in a parking garage, just in a parking space one night, in a pile of fucking piss and beer bottles. And it was miserable. And we finally made it to Christchurch.
A miserable last week.
Oh, it was terrible, dude. We were just down and out, and luckily the New Zealanders, I will say, were the nicest people that we met on that whole trip. Like, the cops even, dude. We would get kicked out of places almost every time, and they would like. Luckily, they would kick us out in the morning. It's so weird. We wake up and start making like instant coffee on our little stove, and they come up like, "You guys can't sleep here." And it's like the morning. We're like, "Oh,
Yeah, we're done.
okay, sir. Yeah." We're like, "Can
Thank
we
you.
finish cooking our coffee?" And they're like,
No.
"That's cool, man." They didn't care. And like when they would catch us, like a few times security guards would catch us like sleeping like behind a building or something, and they'd be like, "Hey man, you guys can't sleep here." And we're like, "Oh," and they're like, "Yeah, but if you go like up to this
Yeah.
park here, if you slip into the bushes, man, like nobody's
No,
gonna catch you
yeah,
up there,
yeah.
dude. Like there's a little shady spot in the back of this park, like blah blah blah."
That's
They were
cool.
just super cool, and like
You're just
one
making
of
it
the
a
security
problem
guards,
for me
like,
when you're
took
here.
my
so-
guitar and like just started jamming with it and stuff one time. Like he could play, like he was playing reggae.
Yeah.
Like he was real good and sat and talked to the guy forever.
Heck yeah.
And like just super cool guys. And to the part where I almost died, we'll get to that. So I make it to Christchurch, and the plan was to sleep in this park there. And this was after like 5 or 6 days of, you know, all these buses and sleeping in all these random places. And I posted something on my blog's Facebook page, like, made it to Christchurch. We're going to try to find a place to sleep somewhere tonight on the streets. And that chick that I'd done the graphic design work for messaged me and was like, "Yo, like I live in Christchurch. You could stay with me if you want." I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, like
It'd be perfect.
that'd be
Yes.
insane."
That's much better than
And
the dirt.
within an hour, we found ourselves from sitting with our backpacks like next to a dumpster to sitting at a picnic table while her roommates cooked up steak, shrimp, and chicken, and we're
Ah.
drinking a beer, and they're doing all of our laundry for us, and we
Wow.
just took a shower. I'm like, what just
Yeah,
happened?
back in
Like,
heaven
Yeah.
somehow.
like, humans are awesome by nature. you know?
Yeah.
And she took us to the bus station the next day to take our bus to Tekapo, which is a mountain range and a lake that's on the southern end of New Zealand. I'll pull up a picture of this lake so you guys can see the reason that we wanted to go there. It is absolutely beautiful lake. It's like the most bluest of blue, like robin's egg blue.
What's it called again?
Lake Tekapo,
Tekapo.
which well, there you go.
Yeah.
This might be even better. It's like aqua blue. Here's
Wow.
yeah, like super super blue. I mean, in person, it's really.
Ridiculous, yeah.
But anyways, we
My
planned
bladder
on.
is
We were just going to go camp there.
Got a bladder like an old pregnant lady.
We were going to camp there for like 5 days, 5 or 6 days, just to kill time. We didn't have anything
Yeah.
else to do, you know, whatever. And we said something about it, and her roommate was like, he just started laughing. He's like, "What the fuck are you mates going to do at Tekapo for fucking 5 days?" And
Yeah.
we're like, "I don't know. Like, isn't there like a lake, you know, whatever?" He's like, "You'll be bored out of your fucking gourds down there."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, whatever. You know, we didn't have anything else
Well,
to do."
can I just go see it at least?
Well, we already had our bus tickets booked, and like we're like, well, what else would we do? You know, we don't have any money to stay anywhere.
Yeah.
We're assuming we can go camp there in the woods for free, because New Zealand has a law that you can camp
Anyway.
anywhere on public property.
Nice.
Anyways,
nice.
so we take our bus there, and this place is up in the mountains, it's high altitude. You know, first of all, we realize this shit's cold,
Yeah.
and two bad things happened up there. The first thing was we were on the side of a mountain, right? Like we climbed up, which you can probably see it on this map. Yes, you can. We were over here on the other side of this lake,
Okay.
which it was wooded this time, but it's like up the side
Yeah, I gotcha.
of that mountain there. I don't know if there's a different picture that would show it. Where we were at exactly. We moved to this side eventually. But anyways, we're up on the side of this mountain in the woods or whatever, and it was like a say 50 or 45 degree grade. It's super steep. So there were various ideas. I had to not surf down the fucking mountain at night. And the first one, I took a rock and put it up inside of the hood of my sleeping bag, and I tied a rope around it, so,
Yeah.
so the rock would keep it from sliding out. And that one, I ended up crammed in a ball in the bottom of my sleeping bag. And Aaron woke up like halfway down the freaking mountain and had to crawl up like 3 times in the middle of the night.
Just gotta. Yeah, that's
So the
tough.
next-
I've been in those situations.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. Well, I had this idea. We're underneath of this giant pine tree, and I thought, brilliant idea. I was going to tie the top part of my hammock to the trunk of the tree, and here's your grade is coming down, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was going to tie the other end to one of the branches, so it would hold
Yeah.
You know, where the grade's going down, it would still, I'd be over it, and the top part of me would be on the ground.
Yeah.
I had learned in Switzerland that the cold air, that's where you can't do the hammock sleeping in cold weather. But I figured since part of me is on the ground, I'll be all right. Just my feet will be up, you know. And I woke up at probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning that morning, and I was like violently
Shivering.
shaking.
Yeah.
Like I've never shivered like that. My insides were like shivering. I couldn't, like, my brain is all foggy. Like I couldn't think right.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to unzip like the hammock to get out because I knew I had to like get on the ground, you know, get some insulation. And I'm like trying to get the zipper and I can't like do
Yeah.
anything, you know.
I
like,
could never be sleeping and get that cold. I would wake up way before that.
That's what I thought I
Yeah.
normally would. But I woke up, and I still don't know, but I think in the beginning stages of hypothermia.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
because I couldn't, my motor functions weren't working. I couldn't think. Like, it was really, and I was fucking terrified. But I didn't want to wake up Aaron because what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're on the side of this.
You'll
Build a
spoon.
fire.
You
We don't
guys
have
will
a-
spoon.
You don't have a cell phone to call, 911.
should've
You gotta
been
build a
spooning.
fire, man.
Well,
Yeah.
For a minute I was trying to just get cold, and
Yeah.
eventually I came up with the idea to heat up a cup of water on the stove,
Yeah.
and I
Drink
started
it.
drinking warm water. And eventually,
Yeah.
after an hour or so, I kind of regained.
Absolutely.
I warmed up a little bit, and so the next day we were like, we have to go down to the bottom part, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he wakes up the next day, right? The first thing he says, like we're both waking up, whatever. He's like, "Man, did you get chili last night?" I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
dude."
a little
no
bit.
idea.
Yeah, dude.
A
I'm
little
like,
bit, guy.
I'm like here thinking like, I think I almost died last night, man. I'm pretty sure.
And it got a little nippy last.
So then we go down to the bottom
I
part.
had to take off my second sweatshirt. It was warm
Oh,
last
my
night.
God.
Or put it on a
I
second
had no
sweatshirt.
idea. So we go to this lower part, and we were warmer. But I learned something during that week or so that we were at Tekapo that was really kind of disturbing to me. Most people haven't, so maybe you have, but before then, I had never been in a position where I had a solid week to do nothing but think.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about a normal person's daily life, like you have work, you have friends, Facebook, anything that's occupying you or taking up things you're thinking about, like, oh, I got to do this at work tomorrow, or tomorrow I got to,
That's why I love being in the woods, man.
I got to do laundry. Me too. But whenever you have, I've got, no, cell phones are dead long ago, you know what I mean? Like, it ran out of battery early on. There's nothing to do. There's no hiking that we could really do around there. So you just sit there and stare at pine cones or write in your journal, and I'd play guitar. But after 12, 14 hours every day, eventually you run through the things that normal people think about. What am I going to do tomorrow? Does she like me? Those kind of thoughts and stuff. There's nothing that's really a normal occupying thought. And all that's left to think about is like life and death and really deep, dark,
Yeah.
morbid things. You just start
The good
pondering the
stuff.
meaning of life because there's nothing else for your brain
Yeah.
to process but the biggest questions of all. And so I find by like the 5th or 6th day, these woods, that I'm losing my mind, dude. Like, I'm just thinking these crazy, morbid thoughts, like that I'm gonna die out here in these mountains. I'm imagining like my funeral and what my friends are saying. I'm just sitting there staring at the leaves, thinking about this shit. And I'm writing about it in my journal, like, I think I'm going crazy. And finally I was like, Aaron, are you thinking, like, have you been like having real weird thoughts lately? And he's like, oh my God, the weirdest, dude. Like, I don't know what's going on. I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, I think we gotta get the hell out of here, dude. Like, we gotta go, man. Like,
We need
Some with this
stimulation.
air.
so we like hiked into town and
I'd
got
be
on.
building shit if I was in the woods. I can't help it.
There was nothing to do, dude. I'm telling you,
It's
it was
nothing, huh?
Oh my
Yeah.
God, there's nothing to do.
I gotcha.
And we were so close to home. And that was my like big morbid thought. Like, I've got a week left till I fly back to the United States, and I'm gonna die in these fucking mountains.
Week, yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been out here for 6 months. Yeah, because we did end up shortening it from 10 to 6 when we realized that there's absolutely no way we're making
That'd
money.
be a perfect ending for the book.
Yeah. Die out there, yeah.
A mostly
What is
true
that?
story.
Yeah, mostly
Oh.
true.
Everyone dies at the end.
Well,
Your friend flies back to meet you, and then everyone dies,
Yeah.
drowns in a boat.
He's
on
like,
Lake
I left that
Tekapo."
bitch, and then we all died together.
Tekapo, Lake Tekapo.
well, obviously, me sitting here that I didn't
Yeah,
die.
yeah. That's
out
why I
there.
said mostly
So
true.
I guess I'm not ruining the ending.
Well, I
of
thought
the
I
book.
died.
Saying
True.
They made it out of there, but a lot more bad stuff happened basically
Yeah.
between there and making it back to the other.
How'd you get your tickets? Did you just someone sent you money? Is that what it was?
They
or-
pre-bought them.
Yeah, we had bought them before when
Oh,
I figured all
okay.
that stuff out. So we still had our return ticket to the North Island. So if we made it back to Christchurch, which we did, but we
Okay.
had another big catastrophe in the airport there where when we bought our tickets, apparently we didn't check a box to include checked luggage.
Ooh.
So they were like, it's $70 per bag.
Oh.
We had $80 total to our name.
One bag, pack it all
bag.
in.
And she's like, if you can fit one of those bags in carry-on, and we both have backpacking packs, you know,
Okay.
and there's a weight limit too. And I like look at the carry-on thing, and I was like, I got this.
Maybe. Yeah.
I left my computer and stuff in the other one. I'm jumping on top of the thing. Like,
Yeah.
it has to fit in this like metal cage.
Yeah.
I'm like stomping on top of it to fit it down in there.
Got
Like,
it.
Yeah, I'm like, She's like, you got
Good-
it, man.
good
If
enough.
it fits in the thing, that's the rule. You got it. You're cool. I'm like, all right, cool.
Heck yeah.
Like, oh, it was a nightmare. We had to throw all it because then the other bag, Aaron's bag, was over the weight limit even for check bags.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
So we had to throw out all the food.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're going back to the states,
We still had
right?
another day and we had no money. We had $10, and then they're like, she's like, I hate to tell you this, but you can't take the guitar carry on either. You have to buy a seat for the guitar.
Ooh, nasty.
She's like, but I'll hook you up. The chick was so cool at the counter. Like I said,
Yeah.
New Zealanders, the coolest people ever. And she went under her employee account and bought me a seat with her thing for $5.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
to put in
That's
there.
so
Wow.
nice.
I was like, I want to hug you right now, but I don't know if somebody's gonna tackle me. Like,
and I also smell maybe.
Yeah, but yeah. And then
So would you roll into California? You stop in Hawaii first, or
I wish I want to go to Hawaii so bad.
I'm
We-
trying. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna say. I'm imagining everybody piled in that Fiat after sweating all day.
yeah?
The smell that was
She
in
is
that.
so
thing.
nice to
we
put up with
asked
that.
her, we're like, do we stink? Like,
I'm sure we
She's like,
stink.
yes, terribly.
a little bit, yes.
But I like it.
Yes, terribly. Yeah, you guys
She is
are
real
awful
nice.
right now.
A little bit, yes.
My father was a pig farmer, so it's okay. I miss the smell.
Well, the next one, we a few days later, we got picked up by another chick at a Fiat, and she's like, I don't know if you'll be able to fit, because we barely fit in that thing, man. She's like, I don't know if you'll be able to fit. And like,
Oh, yeah,
we got
can-
this. We had it a couple days ago. She goes, okay. She opens it up, and then a German Shepherd hops out. We're like, oh, that's a curveball.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we didn't have a dog in the last one.
Yeah.
That poor dog had to stay in the back hatch.
He's like,
I
fuck
felt
you
so
guys.
bad for it. Yeah. But yeah, we flew back into LA. I stayed in LA for a month with a relative of mine, and Aaron flew on to Phoenix to stay with his grandfather. And then it's funny, what shouldn't even have really been a big part of the story is at the very beginning before we left, in an effort to have cheaper airfare, we booked our flight to leave New York at JFK Airport, and we figured we'd stay. I have a friend who lives in New Jersey. We were going to stay there and see the city. My cousin and his girlfriend, now his wife, drove us to New York. Long story short, an hour away, my friend told us that we couldn't stay there. He had misunderstood me somehow and thought we were just going to visit him like during the day. I'm like, why would we?
It was a woman problem. She was like,
He's-
What? You're not having
It
your
was
friends
weird.
over?
Yeah,
Anyway,
what?
So they,
You
they
didn't tell
took
me
care of
this?
us in New York, and they ended up driving all the way to LA to pick us up at the end
Nice.
of the trip. So they like started and completed the circle. And yeah,
So
when I
you
made it
drove
in LA,
all the way home from LA?
in the middle. If you remember last winter, the giant blizzard
Yeah.
that covered the whole country, in the
Yeah.
middle of that, through the
Fun.
Rockies.
That's a
Yeah.
slow trip.
My cousin had never
Wow.
been out west before, and he wanted to see the Grand Canyon and everything. I was like, dude, I really want you to see it, but like, you don't realize how big of a deal like big snowstorms are
Yeah.
in the Rockies.
and
stuff.
when did
Like,
you get back?
We got back second week of December, I think,
What year?
last year.
Last
This is
year.
coming
So
up in the
this
year
just
anniversary of
happened, right?
returning home.
So
This time last year, I was in Australia.
you actually kind of did spend about 9 months total, if
It was
you count
6 months total.
even like your California
if you count
stay.
California,
Okay.
it was 5 months overseas, 1 month in LA.
Okay.
And yeah, once I got to LA, man, I knew it was smooth sailing. I had a
Life
relative
was
to stay with.
good. Yeah.
My aunt, she made sure I wasn't going hungry. You know,
Yeah, I got you.
roof over my head, and I was finally alone for the first time. And
Without that stress of
without
like,
him, the guy that I didn't get
anger.
along with.
Yeah.
Because it was super like
Tense.
if you end up reading the book, like it was intense, man. Like, and like I told him in Australia, it actually got to the point where I told him I was done with him and I was leaving, and he was gonna have to, whatever. He didn't know how to do anything. Like, I had to hold his hand through everything. So,
But he was controlling all the money.
until I started, I started to talk about that. And whenever we started making money in Italy, he like changed his tune all of a sudden, and because he saw us bringing money in,
Yeah.
and he was like, he had
Well,
this
guys,
crazy-
I think we should all now get an equal vote.
yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what happened. He had this crazy harebrained idea that he was going to go to Australia and get a job in a mine and make like all this money to take home with him. Because like I said, he was more concerned. I'm like, dude, if I'm in Australia, I want to enjoy Australia. Like, I'm not going to work in a mine while I'm in Australia.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if I do that, are you still going to split the money you're making like on the internet with me? And I was like, man, no, absolutely not. Because like, for one thing, I'm doing this because we're all in this together.
Yeah.
If you go off on your own, you're on your own. And second of all, if you're making like $30 an hour, I need this. I'm barely making any money.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, like I'm getting by at surviving on this money. If you're making $30 an hour, you're wanting me to give you money I need to survive just so you can have more money to take home and put in a box. Like, absolutely not. And like, he's like, well, it's all our money. I'm like, I seem to remember.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
A month ago, it was, yeah.
Let me go back.
Well, this is where it gets.
I quote.
The first time he had made like a big deal about money, like I said, I didn't really care, but I could tell early on that he was going to make a huge deal about it. And the first time he said to me, like, made me feel like I was a leech piece of shit because he had brought more money at the beginning than I had. And I told him that I was going to make more. I was like, Aaron, I bet I will make more money throughout the course of this trip than you brought from the beginning. He's like, there ain't no way you're going to blah, blah, blah. As soon as he told me that, I started keeping track of every penny that I made from busking, internet, or anything. By the time we left Malaysia, I had made more money than he had brought, but I didn't say anything about it because, like I said, I didn't care, and we got along pretty well through Asia, surprisingly. Because
Well,
money
times
wasn't a
were
problem.
good. Everyone was
Because money wasn't a
hungry, not
problem.
hungry. They've been slept, and you know what I mean.
I didn't bring it up,
well-rested.
like I didn't, whatever, but I kept track of all of it. And then in Australia, he started on everything again, and he one night, brought up the same phrase again. I just wish we would have brought the same amount of money. I'm like, Aaron, there's no sense in arguing about it, dude. It's a done deal. There's no such thing as time travel. We can't go back and change it now. Like
Theoretically.
theoretically. And I'm like, it is what
That's
it
a whole
is,
other story.
man. Like where we're at now, like it is what it is. Well, I'm just saying, I worked my back off to make all this money. I'm like, all right, that's it. And finally, I was like, actually, I have brought more money to this than you have now. No, you haven't. There's no way. I have my little journal. I'm like, actually, right here, if you look,
I've kept track of
flip,
everything
I'm
pretty
like,
well.
here's all that I made in Europe, and here's Asia, and like the look on his face was just like, I can only describe it as terror. The only thing that he could hold over my head had finally been
done.
taken away.
And he had nothing left.
Yeah, and he just like, and he's like, well, a lot of the stuff is just donations from the website because I had where people could give donations and stuff. Well, yeah, dude, the website that I spent fucking months building and like making and maintaining while you sat on your computer and watched Netflix, you know what I mean? Like, and I just got so mad, dude, and like that whole day I just stewed about it.
On it. Yeah.
I mean, it got bad. We were with the British couple and everything. They were out doing something, some kind of canopy tour thing we didn't have money to do. So we're sitting in the Jeep waiting on them. And they came back in the middle of me and him in the middle of this argument. They had no idea there's any friction between us really or whatever.
Oh, no.
What have
And
you
right
two
when we
boys
walked
been
in,
doing?
It came to a head, and I had just said, I was like, I just want to punch you in the fucking mouth right now. And he's like, oh, you want to hit me? Like, then the doors open up, and they get in, and I'm like, yeah, I want to fucking suck you in the mouth. He's like, do it then. I'm like, I just fucking might, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Everything, and they're like, oh, man. Like,
Hey, it's okay, guys.
And that night I told him, like, dude, and this is still the same way I see it now. I was like, man, I don't hate you. I'm honestly, like, I don't even think I'm mad at you. We're just different people
Yeah.
entirely, and we're
I
not
agree.
compatible people. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm not
applaud
gonna
you guys. I applaud both of you because obviously, if he's telling this story, you're the asshole.
And that's what I
You know
told
what
him.
I mean?
I said there's things you do that make me mad.
Yeah.
Just like I'm sure that there's
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
bajillion things I do that annoy the shit out of you, and you can't.
I
stand.
applaud you guys for sticking it out all the way to the States. You know what I mean? You
We
kind of
honestly
had
didn't have
to
much of a
because
choice.
yeah, I know you kind of didn't have a choice, but you know you guys could have quit. And been
Well,
like,
I
I'm going
tried
out,
to
you know what I mean?
there, and whenever I did, man, he's like,
Please,
I
man.
wouldn't know what to do, and he
he realized that
he really wouldn't, because I planned every aspect of it. I did everything. It seemed like,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, you know, you'll have time to figure it out when we get to Ryan's, our friends out in the outback. I was like, you have time figured out then. Well, you really put a lot of thought into this. You really want me gone, don't you?
Yeah, and all that should have been the compensation of the less money that you put in on the original.
Mhm.
You know, you did
Yeah.
all the planning and all that work. Like,
yeah.
shut
And that
up.
was-
You're
and
just
that
going
was
along
my
for the
thing.
ride. You should put more money in.
But hey, man.
But yeah, and so eventually, we came to a conclusion that a lot of it was we had just tried to quit smoking for like the 5 millionth time on this trip,
Yeah.
and we were just like, we should just get a pack of cigarettes, dude. And like, it was so weird that we did get along a lot better once we started smoking. Gave up. That was the last time we tried
You
to
guys
quit
are
smoking
stressing.
too. Well, cigarettes are $25 a pack. in
Dang,
Australia.
what the
American,
fuck?
yeah.
What?
So we're like, we have no choice now, buddy. It's game on, you know, whatever. But,
wow. Should
what
have
was I gonna
brought
say?
some from Thailand.
Yeah, well, see, we're so dumb. We're like, well, we have to quit when we get there, so we might as well just quit. Save some
Don't
money.
take any.
Yeah.
Smoke the last one before we get on the
No,
plane.
it was a
Yeah.
horrible
By the
mistake.
time you land, you're like, man,
Wish I had a cigarette.
I wish I had a
It was
cigarette.
terrible.
Cigarette.
Yeah, so we decided to stay together, and yeah, it was really bad that night, man. Because I was telling him, I'm like, you just do things, you know, that annoy me, and like I do things that annoy you. What things do I do that annoy you? I'm like, I'm
That
not gonna
right
go into specifics, dude.
that right there.
Like,
that
yeah,
annoys
was
me.
it. I said that he was like my mom and my dad at the same time because he nagged me like a mother. Like, you think you should really spend $3 on that? and then he was like a father at the same time. Like, we need to turn these lights off now. And or no, I have that backwards. He was my mom and I was his dad. That was it. Because he nagged me about, like, you should spend money. You should go to sleep now. But then at the same time, I was his dad, like having to hold his hand to go to the bus station and,
Right.
and show him how to do stuff. But anyways, yeah, he's like, just tell me what to do. I'm like, that's not the point, dude. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here. We're just different people. Like, I'm not getting into it. If you could just tell me, I could change it. I'm like, I don't want you to change who you are, dude.
Yeah,
like,
no
I'd
shit.
never ask anybody to change.
We're not
for me.
dating.
Yeah. And even if we were, I would never ask.
I ain't
anybody
gonna.
to
I
change
ain't
for
trying
me.
to marry you, dude.
Yeah.
I ain't putting a ring on
And
it.
finally, he eventually like, oh, I just want to know. I'm like, you really want to know? You really want to know
You
specifically
want to know what
you
the
did?
fuck?
And I mean, 20
him have
minutes, just laying into him like, you fucking do this, you stupid motherfucker.
Trains,
Why would you do
planes,
that?
and
Blah, blah, blah.
automobiles.
Yeah, dude, exactly. It was exactly.
You want to make fun of me? That's okay. I can take
It
it.
was exactly like that. Yeah.
So what? I like to have a good time.
And afterwards, it's just silence. You know, and I'm over there just like, you know, it's real silent. And then like, that's when he was like, do you think that a lot of this is because we quit smoking? And I was like,
Could be.
yeah, dude. Actually, yeah,
Why are you holding it?
yeah. I
You
think
got a cigarette?
we just like, I felt so much better after that, like
Yeah.
that I had vented.
Stress reliever.
But I did, like, the next day, I started thinking back, like, at all the stuff I said, and I felt so bad because
Yeah.
I had said so many mean things to him.
That's generally
And,
how
like,
it works. You know, it's like
He pushed
confetti.
you to
It's
it.
like a handful of confetti. You can throw it up in the
Oh.
air, and it just goes everywhere. But it's hard to pick back
And
up. Man.
I
You
feel
can't
really
bring it
bad.
back.
This book, I feel bad about it. But,
Anyway, you get back to America. Let's hear another song, man.
okay, yeah.
Let's hear another song. We're back in America now. Shit.
Yeah.
It's a happy ending to
Yes,
this tale of
it is
woe
a happy
almost.
I'll have to tune again, I think. I've talked to this thing.
Is that an
enough
automatic tuner? on it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. And that's acoustic, or you could plug it in, right?
Yep.
It's nice.
What's the thing I got?
Kits
the
is
snark.
going to be investing in one of these soon. I'm
I'll
sure
be
of
getting a
it.
ukulele. Yeah. I thought about the stick guitar or whatever it was.
Backpacker?
It's
Martin
just like-
Backpacker?
I don't know. It's long and skinny.
Yeah, I have that one. I don't recommend it, actually.
Okay.
It sounds really bad, and it's hard to keep in tune. Doesn't want to stay in tune.
Okay. I'll get
Now they make a
ukulele.
travel guitar, which I actually just reviewed on my website. Which, if anybody's listening, I haven't even shamelessly plugged my website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, go for it.
Um,
Please, we'll share it on
it's,
the page too.
TuneUpandTravel.com.
That's what I seen you had on there right there, right?
Yeah, yeah. and that's where I have a lot of these stories
Up
and some travel tips.
You
and stuff
spelled
like that.
travel out
Yeah.
A-N-D.
Yep.
Or I mean and.
Yeah, yeah. When you said that, I was like, "What's
Tune
the
up
abbreviation for that?"
and
I know, it's just
travel.
a picture of an airplane.
Totally made no sense.
Tune up and travel.
Yeah, man, I want to go. I'll go check it out. And what?
I get it's a lot. It's kind of humorous. Like
.com?
you gotta be able to handle the fuck word on there for some
Okay,
of the
yeah, I
article.
can handle it. Just because I don't like to say it a lot doesn't mean I can't handle it.
But some of it's humor, some of it's serious. It's a mixture of stuff. I keep it pretty lighthearted.
So what's this next
All right.
tune you're gonna?
This tune is interesting in that I wrote it about my wife, who I've never met yet. So I kind of wrote this song about
Interesting.
like what my idea of my future wife would be. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what your heart draws you to.
I was kind of smitten by a girl at the time, so it's kind of partially with her in mind, I guess you would say. But it totally would have creeped her out
Yeah.
if I would have told her like. The
Yeah, I
rest
got
of
you. It
know
is
what I mean?
creepy. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
creepy.
But
Kinda.
it wasn't like actually
I got
directed
you.
towards her. It was like
Yeah,
she had those feelings going through my head, but not really.
yeah.
I'm making it worse right
Kind
now.
of you,
Alright,
but
yeah.
not you.
Yeah.
All right, well, I apologize if I don't sing this
was
correctly because I usually
inspired.
capo it and I forgot my capo.
No, man.
But we'll give it a shot. This
Yeah.
is called Warm and Breezy. And a honey sideways smile is telling me a secret that I won't keep mine for long. I'm telling your body what it wants to hear. I've been singing in my head for years and years your song. I've made no attempts to hide my crush. I told you all the things that have made you blush and look away. But I got $1 in my pocket, says I'm gonna take that smile home with me someday. Gonna take your loving, put it on a shelf, and I keep it up there for years and years, and I won't leave any more room for no one else. I got nothing but time, all the time to prove this true, that you and I are easy. I'll be warm and always breezy just for you. And I can't tell you how many times that I sat along a path on a treeway line and thought about bills and trips and kids and a house. As a pretty little girl with a smart little mouth I've got. And I can't tell you that I won't get drunk and play my guitar till the sun comes up on a Friday night. But I tell you this to your pretty little lips, there won't be anyone else that's on my mind. Gonna take your loving, put it on a shelf, and keep it up there for years and years, and I won't leave any more room for no one else. Got nothing but time, all the time to prove this true, that you and I are easy. I'll be warm and always breezy just for you. I wanna sit till the sun comes up, talk about history and science and the places we will visit soon enough. I wanna lay, yeah, until the sun comes in, and we won't talk about anything. We will twist up all the sheets again and again. Gonna take your loving, put it on a shelf, and I keep it up there for years and years, and I won't leave any more room for no one else. I got nothing but time, all the time to prove this true, that you and I are easy. I'll be warm and always breezy just for you. You and I are easy. I'll be warm and always breezy just for you.
Right.
Thank you.
That was nice.
Nice one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Creeper.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like. Yeah,
Thank you guys.
I
Appreciate
might
that.
have to give me one of those.
Hey, they're a lot of fun, man. This thing's Kala. They sell them down at Bob's Banjo Barn here in town.
That's where I would probably be.
Saw him. He posted a thing about him the other day. I was like, hey, I got one of those. Yep.
Awesome.
Well, man, I'm way past my bedtime, honestly.
You
Even though we
are.
could go on forever.
We overshot it a little
A
bit,
little
didn't
bit.
we?
That's
Yeah,
all right.
but that's
Whenever
fine.
It's interesting, though. I don't mind staying.
Well, if any of the listeners out there are interested in getting a copy of this book, just finished the rough draft of it, and it will be out before Christmas.
Okay.
And it'll be on my website, tuneupandtravel.com. You'll
And-
be able to find links to buy it.
We're
Amazon.
still
It'll be
waiting
on
for the
Amazon.
name.
Okay,
Yeah.
dope.
We're still waiting on a name. There's several names out there.
Oh, we didn't even talk about naming it. I put it right here on my list
Yeah.
of things that I'll
That
never
would've been fun,
accomplish.
too.
a trip to hell and back.
Yeah.
I had a
Sounds
couple
too
ideas
much
like
a Hobbit's Tale.
I'm throwing. I gotta
strings and
start
busted
spitting.
strings, something like
That's
that.
funny. A little,
Something that's
play.
like a travel music kind of play on words.
Give
I
it two
guess.
names.
That's
Yeah.
kinda
Give
what
it
I-
an official name and then give it your name. That's what you should do. Two names.
It's not a bad idea.
But
But yeah, that'll be out for
man.
Christmas, and keep up with my blog to catch my happenings of. I'll be heading to South America in 2 months. This will be my first trip by myself, so I'm
You're just doing it again?
Going
Same
doing it
thing?
again by myself.
by yourself. You think you'll
In
be
South
happier
America.
Or,
I'm shitting my pants in terror right
yeah,
now. Is what's happening.
companionship, even an enemy is it's good
Right.
to focus on someone that you're having conflict with than
I
your
think I'll-
situation. You know.
Well, I think I'll be okay. I saw tons and tons of solo travelers before, and
Yeah.
once you get in a hostel, there's a saying that you really have to try to travel alone, because everywhere you go you meet people.
Meet people, yeah.
Right.
And I'm a pretty personable guy, so I think I'll be okay.
Travel
Are you
with
going-
this person for a while? And
Right,
That person
yeah.
For a
Are
while.
you
And
going
and I did
to-
that
For a while?
sometimes.
How
there.
about, are you hitting up Peru?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Machu
Are you
Picchu.
are you gonna? Yeah. Have you ever heard of the
Take a
ayahuasca
DMT
ceremonies?
trip with ayahuasca?
I probably won't be doing any tripping.
Well, it's not a DMT. It's an ayahuasca. It's the difference.
I've heard it. Yeah, I
It's
know what you're
kind
talking
of
about. Yeah.
different, but it releases a lot of the same chemicals
Yeah.
that bind is what's causing the
Right.
I'll
You
probably
know,
steer
you just
clear
drink
of
it.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only major plan I have is Paper City Music Festival, which we have here
Mhm.
in the town. You were out there this year, right?
Yeah.
El Caribe Funk. Did you happen to catch them
Yeah.
on Sunday night?
Yeah. They
I
closed it out.
Yeah, I became friends with those guys, and their bass player runs a music festival in Colombia that I'm gonna go to their music festival
Oh,
and meet up with those
sweet.
guys.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
really
they
excited
camped
about
out
that.
right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Super cool guys, and
Yeah.
I thought they were the best act of the whole weekend. So I'm real excited for that.
That's
I'm gonna try to
awesome, man.
weasel my way into
They were the number
shows
one
there.
number one band in Colombia.
Yeah,
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
That's
Wow.
what they were saying when they booked them or whatever.
Yeah,
Wow,
they
that's
were.
cool, man.
They were
Last stop on
phenomenal.
their tour.
So
I didn't make it out.
So I won't take up any more of your times. I've
Nah, man,
rambled on
heck.
like a narcissist.
Oh,
man,
no,
this
thank
is
you.
amazing. It's perfect.
This, yeah.
We love when guests have a story to
Now
tell.
we know
You know
it's
what I mean?
the real Tom Edwards.
Yeah. I'm
You have to have
gonna
me
look
back
for that book
next
too,
year
man.
and,
Make sure whenever you get everything set up and ready to go, make sure you let us know. That way we can share it, and you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
absolutely.
definitely
Even if
have
we,
you
if
back
we can
on
only get you
sometime.
10
Cool.
other sales, you know, heck, 10 other
Hey,
sales,
dude.
man.
My goal, the reason I want to have this out before Christmas is because I'm hoping it's going to give me a little bit of supplemental income. Because, yeah, you said earlier, I'm not doing it the same as I did. I'll probably never do again what I did in Europe and New Zealand.
Well, what you have is experience now.
Right.
You know
I don't
what mean?
have to do that anymore. I don't think I have enough experience that I could get couch surfing or stuff like that. I'll probably hitchhike again. I loved hitchhiking. I love couch surfing, you know, staying with the locals. But I have no desire to go sleep under bridges again or starve myself. It makes for a great story, but I would be lying if I said that I enjoyed it at the time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
It's, I've been hungry in the woods. It's kind of sucks.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, man. Yeah. I had people, I'd post something on
Listen,
Twitter, and some girls like,
This is
"You're
fun.
in Europe. Quit complaining." I'm like, if you were doing what I'm doing right now,
Hey, when you're in
you
a
wouldn't last
garbage can, you're in a
fucking
garbage
day,
can. It
okay?
don't matter what country's in it.
I'm not on vacation right
Yeah.
now. Like, this is just, I've gotten myself in way over my head. Is what happened.
Listen, here's a trick from the king dirtbag himself, Frankie Nunziato, Tent Dreams. When he goes out on the trail, he keeps his food, but then he keeps a jar of peanut butter, just about scraped empty. He said every time he goes to pass, and meets up with a group, and they start eating, he pulls out his jar of peanut butter, and he's like, starts scraping it off and licking the spoon. They're like, oh, man, do you want something to eat? He's like, oh, man, I don't want to impose or anything. And they're like, no, here, take something to eat. That is brilliant. It's brilliant.
That is
Playing on the sympathies.
Dirtbag.
I needed some of that
I got one
advice.
more dirtbag story
hear it.
about him. I can't help it. This one's so funny. He said he was hiking once and somebody, trail kindness. Occasionally people put water, snacks, food out on the trail. Just things for other people to enjoy for free. They just give them away free. And he came across this stash of Little Debbie's, like just boxes and Little Debbie's that filled up a cooler. It was in a cooler but not with any ice or anything. And he emptied out the whole cooler and took every one of them.
God.
And he was camping with his people and left before him. And then he made camp and they caught up to him.
Oh,
And he was just eating all of these snack cakes. And he said, I needed to save it because I didn't know when I was going to eat again. He didn't offer him one snack cake.
Oh, man.
And that's why he is the king dirtbag.
Yeah.
That's a dirtbag thing.
That is, man.
I see. We have a question up here, actually, or a statement.
Oh.
Suggest title of the book about the good people deeds I found along the way. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that perspective actually, and that's
Yeah, that was kind
that's
of the
actually
theme of your
I
story.
think that's pretty much the underlying theme of the whole thing.
But
Yeah.
you also had
It's people in
you had a
general.
continual conflict that was always
The
right there,
biggest the plot line of the story is the conflict between me and Aaron because of how it built up and built up and built
Yeah.
up. It reached a peak, and then it kind of tapered off, and then it reached another peak, and then it tapered off right at the end. So that's the
Right.
general plot line. But
I like how it was
But
resolved
what
by.
I want people to take away from the story is what she's talking about. So that makes sense because
I like
that's what
how
I want
your
people
your conflict resolved in. We just can't be friends. I don't hate you. I wish you well on your travels. I don't want you to have a bad life or anything. We just
gotta
we can't
break
take
up.
trips together, man. We're
yeah,
not
that's
gonna
all
be-
it is, dude.
Yeah.
I still talk to the guy. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we
all.
just
I
can't
still
be
consider
stuck
him a
together.
friend. Yeah, I just would never travel with him again, and I'm sure he would definitely never travel with me again. You know what I mean? It's just different people is all it was. But I like what she's saying because I assume that's a she. With the
Yeah.
whole "licious" on the end of it.
Delicious.
Because that's what I do want people to take away from the book is
There's nice people
how
over there,
the
man.
kindness of people humbled me and humanity changed me through that. I left. I was angry because of what that girl had done to me and my ex had done to me, and I lost my job. And I was running away, and by the time I came home, it had changed how I viewed my life and the world
Yeah.
in general.
Good for you.
So that's what I want people to take away from it, I guess. So that's a good idea, and I'll definitely I'll put that into consideration during the naming process
Awesome.
that I
man.
have not put enough thought into.
Yeah. It'll come.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's
It'll
one of those
come
things. I
to
keep
you,
trying to
it'll-
think of
it'll-
the absolute perfect thing, and it'll probably
Don't
never.
think too hard about it and let it come, and it'll come.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. All right.
Yeah, man.
This is it. Let's wrap
Kick her
this
off,
up.
man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Episode
Yeah, man.
51.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
coming
having me
on,
on,
man. I
guys.
love when
Appreciate
a
it, Tom.
guest has
I
a
had a
story
blast
to
tonight.
tell, man. You just did us a solid by coming
Oh,
on
I had a
and
great
telling your
time.
story, and we appreciate it.
Will this be available for people to listen?
It's gonna be on
Anytime, man.
YouTube.
It's
Oh,
gonna be
sweet.
once we get done, it'll stay on here for a little while. People can tune directly into the Ustream and find it, or once we get around to it, we'll transfer it over to Ustream, and we always share it. We'll
YouTube.
probably share it on the event and on the
It'll be-
page.
yeah, it'll be on our Facebook page and stuff.
But
too.
you know how we put Francois in the event? We can just put
Yeah.
it right in the event too. That way, it's kind of like that little, around
Everybody that's
sharing it.
on there.
Everyone who is interested in our show gets it to see what maybe they had missed.
Well, whenever you do that, let me know, and I'll put
Will
it on my
do.
website.
Absolutely.
And on my, I'll put it on the Tune Up and Travel Facebook page.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
Share
Sounds
it, get
great,
you-
man.
Get your
Hey.
guys' name out a little bit.
Thank you.
That's it. We're wrapping this up, and we'll be seeing you guys next Sunday.
Next Sunday,
Blue Wallers and Blue
8:30.
Ballers.
Do we have any
We
idea
love
what we
you
got
guys.
going on? Not yet.
No, we don't have.
Okay.
We don't
well,
know yet.
As
We're
usual,
gonna hustle.
Facebook us and stay tuned throughout the week. And as soon as we get something thrown together, which it just I just so happened to message Tom, and I was like, you know what, he seems interesting. I know he was in a band. He's a musician. I always see that you're posting doing things locally. I wish I got out more locally and did things, but I'm very cheap, unfortunately. And Not that anything's wrong with going to the bar, but I'd rather go to a campfire.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way,
You know what I
ironically,
mean?
though. Even though I play in the bars, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right, I'm cutting it off. We can
Cut it
still
off,
talk
man.
this.
Let's get out of here.
Later, y'all.
Later.
Whoops.